Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Naruto, 10,000 Times Return, starting with Rock Lee. Chapter 81. Mitomanyan stood up and retreated slowly, laughing wildly in his heart. Tsunade. Uchiha Shun. The many high rises of Konoha. Everyone thought he was an early bird, a fool, used to test and establish his prestige. Snort. Do you really think that his Hokage consultant for so many years was for nothing? All of this is actually in his calculations. Assassination is only the first step, and it doesn't matter if it fails. With Uchiha Shun's arrogant temperament, he will not let it go, and it will definitely set off a bloodbath. What to do then? Didn't it depend on him, Mitomanyan, to turn the tide? At that time, the dead and the disabled. And he will get it all and be on top. Ha ha ha. In the hospital, due to Tsunade's great strength, Sandai, who was able to get out of bed and walk, stood at the window quietly sipping tea. The conspiracy may be seen through, so what if you know about the conspiracy? Greed is the norm, but it's a pity that Mitomanyan's knife can only be used once. Tsunade, don't blame me as a teacher, you and Uchiha Shun walked too close. Konoha can only bloom in the hands of the teacher. Tsunade browsed the scrolls carefully, and with her basics, she quickly learned to seal the dead ghosts. It is not difficult, but it is the determination to perish with the enemy. Raising his head, he looked at the disappearing families one after another in a daze. Why do you have to force me? Why? To be honest, her feelings for Shun are very complicated, the provocation and disgust for Uchiha when they first met, and then the shock of catching her full blow with bare hands. Then throwing her into a wooden barrel full of blood and internal organs, and using illusions to make her recall the anger she least wanted to face. Then there was the despair and confusion when Shun overwhelmed Sanin with her own strength, and finally when she returned to the village. There is joy, there is confusion, there is disgust, and there is also a little worry about gain and loss. If she had a choice, she really hoped that Shun and Shun would not become enemies, even if it was just a normal relationship. But for the village created by her grandfather, and for Naoki and Duan's ideals, as Hokage, she had to stand up. Ah, he let out a long sigh. All right, after running away for 30 years, it's time to find them. After a few vertical leaps, she turned her back to Shun. She didn't want Shun to see her expression. Stop it now, everything today will be borne by me. This is Tsunade's last attempt. If it doesn't work, he can only choose to die together. Tsunade paused. What does Tsunade mean? This is not like her character. She has a clear distinction between love and hate, and she is very stubborn. Rare Shun also opened his mouth to explain. Let me deal with these moths. Tsunade's eyes turned red. She believed Shun's words. With his strength, if he wanted to be Hokage, he didn't have to. As long as you have a little patience for a few years, manage well, and promise some benefits, you will surely be able to easily obtain the position that others dream of. I know, I'll give you an explanation, trust me. Wait a minute, okay. HMPH. At this moment, Xiaochun came to bed with a group of frightened high-level officials and family members. The adulterer and the adulterer are still talking about love at this point. Master Hokage, you are doing really well. Tsunade was furious. Don't think that I don't know what you did. What did we do? Zhuanju Xiaochun was confident. We just want to get rid of a person who is a serious hazard to Konoha. He killed Danzo, he forced Hirijin back, and he killed innocent people indiscriminately. Look at the evil deeds he has done today. Men, women, children, did he let anyone go? Today he can kill us for no reason. Tomorrow he can kill you with impunity, and the day after tomorrow he can destroy Konoha if he is unhappy. This extremely dangerous character, we must unite and destroy. Even if you pay a heavy price, you will not hesitate. The sonorous and powerful speeches, the alarmist remarks, instantly won the support of the high-level people present. Yes, the Hokage consultant is right. Kill him, must kill him. He is a demon, Konoha will be destroyed without him. Death. No matter how much you pay, you must let him die today. Ha ha ha, facing the verbal criticism from everyone, tears almost flowed from the blink of an eye. Did you hear that? It's this group of garbage, this group of moths, lying on the leaves, sucking the blood of the leaves. Greedy and impotent. Let me ask you, where were you when the 1,000 hands raced on the front line? Where were you when Sannin was desperately fighting in the land of rain? Where were you when the fourth Namikaze Minato fought against Nine Tails? Konoha Baya, what did you do for Konoha's life and death? You bunch of trash, you bunch of bugs. You are only afraid that they will grow up and threaten your interests. You will force Konoha Baya to death and Sannin. You watched 4 generations die in battle, just for your ridiculous interests. I can clearly smell the dirty and rotten smell on your body even if it is far away from the leaves. Nonsense. Zhuanju Xiaochun yelled loudly, she was a little panicked. What do you know, the development of a village is beyond your comprehension by a young man. These years, if all these things are exposed, how can they stand on the commanding heights of morality and punish others? Stretching for a moment, Yoji and Shuichi took out rocking chairs and various fruit and snacks from the ninja bag in a very doggy manner. Even if the moment is gone, even if the battle is about to take place, there is still nothing else in their ninja bag. Sir, please. Okay. Shun was very satisfied and rewarded a marrow washing pill, which made everyone present very hot. This one has already been sold to hundreds of millions on the black market, and it is still hard to find one. After all, who doesn't want to have a better body, greater potential, and a longer lifespan? Yes, the marrow washing pill can prolong one's lifespan. Greedy eyes kept scanning Shun's body. He must get rid of him, and he must get the magical medicine. Shun ignored these malicious eyes, and lay carelessly on the rocking chair. 10 seconds, I'll give you 10 seconds, if you succeed in sophistry, I'll let you go. Otherwise, I'd kill someone every 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 2, 1. It was very quiet, no one spoke, no one moved. Shaking his head for a moment, flicking his fingers, they thought he didn't dare. Boom. The head of the administrative department behind Xiaochun turned to sleep instantly exploded into blood mist. Crazy. Turning to bed, Xiaochun wiped the blood from his face. He is a complete lunatic. Are you going to live under his fear all day long? Aren't you afraid that you will be the next to die? Unite, we must unite, kill this beast together, and give Konoha a bright future. Okay, Shun applauded first. Unfortunately, the answer is wrong. In an instant, dozens of high-ranking Konohas, including the major ministers and deputy ministers, bloomed at the same time. The blood mist filled the sky like drizzle, drifting down. Who will be in the next 10 seconds? Panic appeared on the faces of Konoha's senior executives, and they suddenly realized that the morality they were proud of was bound to shun, and it was not easy to use. Demon, you are a demon. Feeling flustered, Xiaochun pretended to be calm when he turned to bed, heartbroken. Even if we are at odds with you, it's fine if you kill us, why bother to attack our family? Those old people, those children, how innocent. Innocent, Shun smiled lightly. Why don't they say they are innocent when they enjoy all the privileges you bring? Why don't they say they are innocent when they live in luxurious villas and eat delicious food prepared by others? Innocent stepping, a 13-year-old innocent, taking advantage of it without making a sound, calling for injustice during the liquidation. Cough, a group of rotten meat, is it worthy of calling people? With a wave of the left hand, under the holy sword, countless people were cut in half, divided into two, and their internal organs fell to the ground, but people would not die immediately. I could only crawl painfully in howling, trying to assemble it constantly, but it didn't work at all. The blood is soaring, and the stench is unpleasant. Turning to the bed, Kaharu couldn't hold back anymore, and began to force Tsunade. Master Hokage, are you just watching? Watching him slaughter the villagers of the same village, you Hokage are really competent. Tsunade glanced around with a complicated expression. Men, women, old and young, the words, eat, people, were written all over the hideous faces. But can she do nothing? I am afraid that if tomorrow is not needed, Konoha has already fallen apart and completely disappeared into history. That's all, that's all. She was already feeling desperate for Konoha, thinking about all these years, studying her grandfather's corpse, stepping over their Sannin, passing Hokage to Jiraiya's disciple Namikaze Minato. One by one, she was tired, she was really tired. She doesn't want to work harder, and she doesn't want to change anything, so let her compose the glory of Hokage with her last swan song. Uchiha Shun, come to fight. Looking at Tsunade for a moment. 1 second, 2 seconds, you will die. Tsunade smiled sweetly. as Hokage, there is no life to death. Come on, accompany me to the last place. Okay, instantly stood up, since Tsunade chose so, then let her be fulfilled. Ignoring everyone, the two walked to Hokage Cliff, looking at the bustling crowd below, Tsunade said happily. Thank you. Even at this time, Shun is still willing to tolerate her waywardness, and is willing to let her go through the last journey with dignity. Perhaps, dying in Shun's hands is also a good destination. She waved her hand in a flash. One day as a father, and a lifetime as a father. Since you call me dad, how can I take care of your emotions? Boom, a huge, well, appeared on Tsunade's forehead, and the dog couldn't spit out ivory. The emotions she had finally brewed, bang, gone. He roared viciously, let's fight. The 8 Anbu who had been waiting for a long time suddenly appeared, chakra surged, and the crimson flames quickly locked Tsunade and Shun in it. Weakened version of the 4 Scarlet Sun formation. Tsunade took off the headband and shook his hair. Let us not only compete, but also decide whether to live or die. Just suddenly, the scroll in her arms exploded, and an extremely thick pink gas filled the entire enchantment circle. Instant. This is your trick, shouldn't it be all dead ghosts? Wait, this doesn't seem to be poison, but rub, it's not possible. Just tell me, even if you are over 50 years old, I can barely accept it. Tsunade was so depressed that she wanted to vomit blood, the conscience of heaven and earth, why would she want to do such a thing? But even though she suppressed it with all her strength, Mitomenion's special 1000 times super strengthening drug still made her face red and her eyes blurred. Gradually, she moved closer to Shun step by step. Instant. For real, this is in full view, under the watchful eyes of everyone. Is Tsunade so unrestrained? Seriously, he's a little irritating, sorry. It's just that this medicine is really strong. Besides, he couldn't resist it. Especially Tsunade's too. No, don't. Tsunade used the last ounce of rationality to cast Forbidden Technique Dark Walk Technique, to wrap her and Shun in it. Shun's eyes fell into darkness, so during the 4th World War, Tsunade didn't use any forbidden technique, because the way to open it was wrong. Mitomanion raised the corner of his mouth, ha ha ha, do you think it's just for you to die together? No, you must be ruined in order to relieve my hatred of heart. He waved his arms, issued orders, and judged others by himself. He didn't believe in Tsunade at all, and would sacrifice himself for others. The 8 Anbu dispersed the magic circle, their hands formed seals, and the cold breath filled the whole Konoha. Countless people looked up at the ominous figure. After many years, the Grim Reaper reappears. Mitomanion was trembling with excitement, and Jiraiya had already been lured away, as long as he slightly blocked the impact of the Uchiha clan. He can lead his men to get rid of that couple of dogs. At that time, he will become Konoha's hero. PFF'd. A knife tip protruded from his chest, and Mitomanion looked at his subordinates who had followed him for more than 20 years in a daze with deep disbelief. Why did you do this? PFF'd. Without answering, the person behind drew out the dagger, dropped countless evidences he had collected over the years, and disappeared. In the ward, Sandai looked at the crystal ball in his hand and showed a satisfied smile. Shut him up forever. After a wave of disturbance, the ward returned to calm again. 3 generations held their teacups leisurely, looking at the familiar Grim Reaper in the distance. The actors were already in place, and the show was about to begin. On Huiying Cliff, darkness shrouded in darkness. But the technique of walking in darkness can only block the sight, but it cannot block the alluring voice. Countless Uchiha clansmen sensed something was wrong and launched a charge, but were held back by Anbu who had been prepared for a long time. In addition, Konoha's high-level executives will end in person. As long as there is a short delay, Uchiha will be sealed in the belly of the god of death. Then Konoha is still their Konoha. However, 1,000 birds sang together, and in the dazzling lightning, Kakashi directly penetrated the heart of a minister. Not only because he has already surrendered to Tsunade, but more importantly, he thinks Shun is right. These moths, they were the ones who killed my father. Shocking door, open. Day Tiger. The powerful punching wind directly killed Xiao Yaoyao's Anbu who attacked Kakashi. Kai doesn't care who is Hokage, he just wants to practice taijutsu, and Shun seems to have the possibility to make him go further. Illusion tree binding kill. Illusion absolute lotus flower. Combined ninjutsu death feast. The trees protrude, the flowers are in full bloom, and the huge lotus is constantly sucking the life of Anbu. On Konoha Ninja Yuhi read ginseng. She did nothing else, just to instantly become her love affair with asthma. Soft boxing method Bagwazong 128 palms. Hyuga Hyuzu suddenly made a move. Whether the family will soar into the sky, or disappear in smoke depends on today. Secret technique super multiplication technique. Mystery super meatball chariot. Secret technique heart turning technique. Secret technique the art of performing martial arts with a heart disorder. Secret technique shadow stitching technique black bana flower. Secret technique shadow head hanging technique. Inakacho followed closely behind, and Shikaku was also betting heavily. He didn't think Uchiha-shun would die so easily. Ninja method scattering thousand crows technique. Konoha Ryu swordsmanship dance of the three suns and moons. Aoba in the mountain city, with the same feat, Yugong Galifang and other Shun's classmates also joined the battle one by one, and the situation was reversed instantly. If Tsunade is instantly sealed and Tsunade abdicates, then only 3 generations will be able to restore it. At that time, I am afraid that relatives and friends will not be able to get together, and the master's bereaved son will not be able to take care of him. In the ward, the 3 generations frowned. What's going on? Why are there so many people helping him? A person who has played with people's hearts all his life, he thought he had calculated everything, but he forgot that what everyone wanted at first was actually very simple. Shisui, who finally freed his hands, opened his body completely in seconds, and the entire Konoha high level and Anbu were completely defeated. Boom. Psychicism roof collapse technique. Jiraiya, covered in blood, fell from the sky grabbing Naruto, and sat down to death. The last few Anbu, the god of death, uttered an unwilling roar, and dissipated between the sky and the earth. Where is Tsunade? Jiraiya asked anxiously without caring about anything else. Zishui pointed to the darkness ahead with a blank expression. Come also. The voice seemed, maybe, possibly, to be Tsunade's. Rough. He even dared to paint like this when he was kissing heaven. There is a large crowd, even if the villagers are watching. This is Hokage Cliff. What do you think of your ancestors? Will you engrave it on it in the future? Collapse. Jilai also fell into collapse. He grabbed Zishui and roared, who is that person? Shisui broke apart Jiraiya's fingers, stopped before the darkness, looked at Jiraiya coldly. He didn't trust anyone, he couldn't let what happened just now happen again. Shisui didn't say anything, but Jiraiya also understood everything, except for that fool Uchiha-shun, who could make Shisui like this. Second open fairy mode. Get out of the way. The green chakra began to rise, and he stopped the water and did not allow anyone to disturb Shun-sama. At the same time, Kakashi, Kai, Kureni Yuhi, Hinata Hijuru, Shikahi Sonara, Kaiichi Yamanaka and others stood in front of Jiraiya with blood. At this moment, Zilai was also dumbfounded. Shun is obviously doing that kind of thing, why would everyone stop him? Let me explain, Hinata Hyuzu said with Jiraiya's murderous gaze. Mito Menyon sent someone to assassinate Shun-sama. Then he went to bed and Kaharu forced Hokage-sama to fight Shun-sama. But I didn't believe in Hokage-sama, and secretly poisoned and summoned the god of death, wanting to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The result. Jiraiya, thump, thump, step back 3 steps. He knew the filthiness of Konoha's high-level executives, but he didn't expect it to be so filthy. Grabbing Zhuanju Shaochun's collar, for the first time, he had murderous intentions towards the people in the same village. You are doomed. Humph. Turning to the bed, Shaochun's face was calm. The winner is the king and the loser, but it's a pity that I couldn't get rid of this adulterer and adulterer. Ji Lai also trembled with anger. Without them, how could Konoha be reduced to this state? Raising his arm, he wanted to shatter Zhuan's sleeping Shaochun's head, but he couldn't do it for a long time. Come on. Turning to bed, Shaochun raised her neck arrogantly. Come on, you villains, Konoha will be destroyed by your hands sooner or later. Up to now, she still doesn't think she did anything wrong. Uchiha should be eliminated, and all unstable characters should die. Ha ha ha. Jiraiya laughed sadly. Peace in the ninja world. How can there be peace in the ninja world with a group of mercenary and short-sighted people like them? Lowering your arms, you turn around and want to leave. Boom. Turning to bed, Xiaochen's proud expression disappeared, replaced by wildly gushing blood. Cut the grass but not the root, why don't you keep it for the new year? Diablo disappeared, and Shun's naked upper body was covered with tooth marks and scratches, and he walked out slowly with his arms crossed. I have to say that Kishimoto is indeed living a good life in his childhood. We'll play. Separation. Two avatars were instantly separated, one was responsible for copying the sealed book that fell from Tsunade, as for the main body and the other, I guess you wouldn't want to know. Especially, knowing that the whole village is watching outside, that feeling. Hiss. Can't say. As for why Tsunade gave away equipment, there is a high probability that no one can trust Tsunade, so he had to carry the sealed book with him. Put me down. Tsunade bit her lip. How could she gain a foothold in Konoha in the future? She was so ashamed. No, I refuse. Shun not only refused, but also hugged Tsunade even tighter in front of Jiraiya and everyone else. Even under extrusion, deformation occurs. I'm the man who aspires to be Hokage. How can you let go? Tsunade, come also. Konoha people. Are you a Hokage man serious? Is it the Hokage man we imagined? Tsunade was still about to struggle, but suddenly felt a hot breath, and instantly lay red and limp in Shun's arms, motionless. Shun was very satisfied. Well, Hinata, starting tomorrow, you will be the Minister of Administration. Yes, Hyuga Hyuzu knelt down on one knee, very excited, and won the bet. May only Shun-sama, no, Hokage-sama and Shun-sama follow suit. The administration department seems to be a useless department, but it is actually the department closest to Hokage and the most powerful department. Nara Shikahisa, you are the Minister of Intelligence. Yamanaka Kaiichi, you are the head of the interrogation department. Chu Dao Ding Zuo, you are the head of the security department. From now on, all ninjas in Konoha must join the guard team for rotation. At the same time, the Ministry of Education carried out reforms, divided into ninja primary school, middle school, university, and primary school for 6 years, and graduated as ninja. The middle school conducts training for the Chunin, and the university will occasionally have me, Tsunade, Jiraiya, such cage-level powerhouses give lectures and actual combat, and all Jonin must participate. Quote. In addition, create a reward and punishment department, a library, a martyr's monument, a laboratory, etc. Department of Rewards and Punishments, meritorious deeds must be rewarded, and demerits must be punished. The emperor and the common people are guilty of the same crime. The library contains all kinds of ninjutsu and knowledge collected by Konoha. Everyone can exchange for their contributions, which is fair, just and open. Martyr's Monument, to commemorate those who have made outstanding contributions to Konoha. Laboratory, a series of policies are continuously issued, and everyone's eyes are gradually shining. This is what a Hokage should look like, opening up channels for advancement, cultivating talents, and uniting people's hearts. Instead of red faces, intimidation, or single-handed death on the battlefield. What would it be like if, during the Fourth World War, there were 10 people who would kill all the ghosts? What about 100, 1,000? Bring soil. Even when the 6 paths come, you have to kneel. A month later, without the obstruction of those annoying old guys, all of Tsunade's orders were well executed. The whole Konoha can be said to be thriving, harmonious and joyful. But there are so few people who are not very happy. No longer lying on the bed with blank eyes, looking at the ceiling, why, he just said, who else, why did it happen? Although he is not good at women, although he only wants to become stronger, but once a man loses his roots, his life will become meaningless. His heart is like still water, everything can't make any waves for him. Bai was holding his little hand tightly. No, we can't let Master Buzan be decadent, we must cheer him up. My lord, I heard that Orochimaru has a secret technique and can recover. On the other side, Shu was eating papaya in grief and anger. She thought Hokage-sama was over 50 years old, so there would be no danger at that age. But I never expected it, it was really big, she would feel inferior if she was too big. No, Master Shun cannot be indulged in the hands of an old woman. Terumi Mei knelt beside Shun, trying her best to serve Shun, father. She is not jealous at all, isn't it just that Konoha has been revived and united? What is this? Isn't it just that Konoha has produced another ninja god who can be compared to Zujian? There's nothing to be afraid of, bah, there's nothing to be jealous of. It's not that I haven't experienced it before. What happened to the two so strong back then? Didn't he play to himself to death and unify the ninja world? No, I'm afraid, bah, that's jealous. The big deal is how many years, at En Yishan's age, if nothing else happens, he will only be a grandson for decades. What's the big deal? Isn't Mist Ninja Village still the same Mist Ninja Village? Isn't Mizukage still the same Mizukage? The most important thing now is how to trick Shun and help her overthrow the 4 generations of Mizukage's blood mist rule. That little loli is watching too closely. She has no chance to sacrifice even a bit. In Hokage's office, Tsunade's ferocious roar can be clearly heard even on the street tens of meters away. What? Forbidden techniques are rampant. Check. You must check hard for me. Who spread these forbidden techniques? What? Kakashi is trying to fuse with Reikiri and Millennium Killer again, and stabbed a group of ninjas at the border of Iwanan all by himself. How many times this month? Can't he stop? Onoki has issued a strong protest, saying that this kind of ninjutsu is extremely inhumane. If it happens again, he will come to Konoha in person to ask for an explanation. What? Kai single-handedly singled out the entire Cloud Ninja camp with the technique of multiple shadow clones, and left a sentence that there is no one who can fight. The angry 4th generation Lei Yingai said that he would fight in person, that he would meet him for a while. Hey, how did he learn multiple shadow clones? No, why can his shadow clones open 8 doors? 10, a total of 10 watch lotus blooms at the same time. What? Yugong Hayate, together with Minerazule and the others, stole the corpses of previous case cages. Are you being hunted down by the 4th case cage Risable? Why are they stealing dead bodies? Tsunade's head is buzzing with anger. What is it all about? Can't he stop for a while? 5 years, 5 years, no, 3 years, as long as she is given 3 years, she is confident that Konoha can return to the top. But what happened to these people now? Was it instantly infected by Uchiha? Everyone has become so abnormal. And the creator of all this, Uchiha Shun, is still sleeping. It is impossible to cultivate, not even in this life. He just taught everyone a few ninjutsu in private, and made a little mention. It made everyone including Kakashi and Kai completely surrender, and obediently called out, "Dad." Of course, Shun has repeatedly assured that this matter is known to all, and no third person will know about it, and only one word is allowed. They will never be asked to bark again in the future, so they bark shyly. Shame. No shame at all. Anyway, no one knows, and besides, calling Shun dad is better than being beaten on the battlefield and calling him grandson. Shun really doesn't understand. There are so many powerful ninjutsu, so many useful ninjutsu, why should they be banned? Isn't it just that a few people will die? There are so many ninjas in Konoha, so many tasks, how many will not die someday? They were all killed from the mountain of corpses and the sea of blood, so would you care about this? Instead of failing the mission and dying, I believe that every ninja is willing to master the two-handed forbidden technique, even if it is the ghoul. The big deal is to die together. Anyway, both the left and the right are dead, why not pull a back? Report. An Anbu ninja knocked on the door of Hokage's office cautiously. Call. Tsunade let out a long breath, and leaned on the Hokage chair. Tell me, did Reikage start the war, or was Onoki personally visiting, or was Rasa protesting? So be it, she's tired, destroy it. Anyway, as long as you prepare for the worst, nothing can excite you anymore. That, Hokage-sama. Anbu wiped off the cold sweat that didn't exist. These days, Tsunade has completely let himself go, and I don't know how many times I have to roar every day. Nowadays, if they, the Anbu, don't hear it for a day, they are not used to it. At the gate, there is a group of people who call themselves the Whirlpool Clan, saying that they want to ask to see Mr. Shun, and ask him to take him in. What? Tsunade slapped his palm on the desk, and the poor table was split into 2. Is there still this? His face was hesitant, and he had a headache. The Uzumaki clan, that is the famous Uzumaki clan. If this is a strong alliance with the Uchiha clan, what about Konoha and other families? Although Shun Uchiha has repeatedly expressed his rejection of the position of Hokage, it is hard to guarantee that his people have no other ideas. If possible, she still wants to strengthen the authority of her Hokage, to reduce the influence of Uchiha Shun as much as possible and prevent the Uchiha clan from becoming bigger. No, the Uzumaki clan must be firmly controlled by her Hokage. Lead them to me. But Anbu was very hesitant. They named Shun-sama by name, and. How can there be so many buts, and? Tsunade's eyes were sharp. Why, are you afraid Master Shun won't like it? You don't know about my relationship with Shun-sama. Or is it that I, Hokage-sama, am not qualified to welcome our close allies, the Uzumaki clan? Alright then, Naruto-sama. Anbu Ninja shook his head, then I'll bring them to see you. Okay, let's go. Tsunade's face turned red, because that day, she lost all face of Hokage. Now everyone in the village knows Shun's relationship with her, and all kinds of gossip are flying around. She still can't stop it, but she wants to use this to deter other interested people. What's even worse is that it's been a month, and that fool hasn't come to her again. Standing at the window, looking at the scene of living and working in peace and contentment below, I'm sorry, I really don't think so. Tatter. A group of footsteps came, and Tsunade turned around happily. Welcome. All the allies of the Uzumaki clan, come to Konoha. It's not that she spoke intermittently, it's that the gap between her and her imagination is too big. All of them were skinny, not to mention sunken eyes. What's more, without her superb medical skills, it was easy to see that she might not live for 3 days. Is this group of people the Whirlpool clan invited by Shun? When did he become interested in beggars? Plop. The leading old man took off his hood, revealing his wrapped long red hair. I hope my lord will take me in. Woo woo woo, I will definitely go through fire and water for my lord. Woo, I just ask the adults to take me in and give us a bite to eat. Woo. We are really desperate. Woo. They are miserable. Since the kingdom of Vortex was destroyed, they have been hunted down and persecuted in various ways. They had no choice but to leave their hometown and embark on the road of escape, but this road was not peaceful. No matter where they go, they will encounter enemies like wolves and tigers. Gradually, they have changed from a few thousand people at the beginning to a few hundred people, and now there are only a few dozen people left. This is not the most terrible thing. The most terrible thing is that they can't see any hope. They don't know where the huge ninja world can take them in and where they can live in peace. They came to Konoha with the mentality of gambling. Instead of disappearing completely while fleeing, they might as well come to Konoha to gamble. Tsunade looked at the Uzumaki clan kneeling on the ground begging to be taken in with a complicated expression, and told her rationally that she couldn't stay. If it's a few powerful ninjas, she can stay. But with a group of old, weak, sick and disabled, she really couldn't stay. She is very clear why the Uzumaki clan destroyed her. Once they are taken in, they will definitely become enemies of the entire ninja world. When everyone is black and you are white, then you are wrong. But her sensibility does not allow her to refuse. Her grandmother is the first Nine-Tails Jinchuriki Uzumaki Mito as a member of the Uzumaki clan. Moreover, Konoha and the Uzumaki clan have been friendly for generations, and even the Konoha logo has the Uzumaki clan's logo. But because of one of her actions, Konoha lost the time to develop steadily, so she really hesitated. 3 years, as long as there are 3 years, she believes that the new Konoha will be fearless, but now. Silver teeth clenched, hands clenched, if it was you Uchiha-shun, how would you choose? To give up the family and make Konoha complete, or to offend the Quanon world for a family? Take a deep breath, get up, Konoha will be your home from now on, you can live here in peace and security, no one can bully you. She remembered that Shun had shown disdain for the third representative more than once, and gave up because of fear. What else is Hokage doing? How about being a turtle at home? Afraid of war, send the Hinata family out. Afraid of rebellion, is it necessary to destroy the Uchiha clan? Afraid of offending people, just let those old guys dictate. Everyone can ride on Konoha's head, ride on Hokage's head and shit. What kind of Hokage is that Hokage? What kind of Konoha is that Konoha? Thank you, thank you. The Uzumaki clan wept with joy, they really had nowhere to go. Go on, I will let someone arrange everything. Tsunade glanced at the new Anbu minister, who immediately broke into cold sweat, bowed and bowed. Guaranteed to complete the mission. Tsunade didn't speak, but she promised that if something like Naruto's happened again, she wouldn't mind cleaning up the upper Konoha again. Wait. Tsunade was silent for a moment, and when everyone couldn't wait, he said. In the name of my Tsunade, issue an announcement to summon the Thousand Hands clan. In an instant, everyone in the room looked at Tsunade in shock. What, is Hokage-sama crazy? Taking in the Uzumaki clan is already provoking the entire ninja world, and summoning the Sensho clan, what will the other ninja villages think? Master Hokage, isn't this bad? Master Hokage, think twice, Konoha has just ushered instability, I hope you can take back your life. Master Hokage, the Thousand Hands clan has already disappeared, why bother to make trouble again? Lord Hokage, Tsunade understood what everyone was thinking, closed his eyes, and his mind was filled with the smiles of his clansmen. How powerful and brilliant their Thousand Hands clan was once. But now, under the leadership of 3 generations of heroics, the dead and the disabled, the only remaining clansmen are probably living in hiding like the Uzumaki clan, right? Could it be that she just watched them disappear like this? No, she recalled Shun's words, a brave man should have the courage to do things that others dare not do. I've made up my mind, you don't need to persuade me anymore. Everyone looked at the resolute Tsunade, and opened their mouths to say something, but in the end they didn't say anything, and shook their heads and retreated. What happened a month ago is still there, and no one knows what the current relationship between Tsunade and Shun is. For a while, the news that the Uzumaki clan joined Konoha and Tsunade to recall the Senju clan spread rapidly throughout the ninja world like a long arm. In Yunnan village, the fists of the 4th generation of Raikage are clenched. Kai's series of actions at the border have long made him unhappy. He just took this opportunity to flatten Konoha and unify the ninja world. Had the whole village prepare for war. In Iwanan village, the 3rd Tsuchikage Onogi had a wry smile on his lips, feeling worried. He is already so old, how many more years can he last? But once a war breaks out, besides him, who else is there in Yanran village? Why are all geniuses born in Konoha? Decree that the whole village be on guard, and spend a lot of money to reward the Whirlpool clan and the Chinsho clan, trying to prevent the return of the 2 clans. Back then, these 2 families were famous and terrifying existences. Can't let them return to Konoha, what if another ninja god appears? In Kurinin village, the 4th Mizukage Yakura looked at the people below with a blank expression, what do you see me doing? I'm a puppet. In Sand Ninja village, the 4 generations of Keisuke Luo Sha's mind Peng Bai, Konoha committed suicide, this is a good opportunity for him to flex his muscles. Come here, send a message to Orochimaru, and say that I want to meet with him in person and discuss important matters. Recalling the tragedies of the Urinan village during the Second Ninja War, Nagato clenched his fists tightly, so that the world should feel the pain. We need to hurry up and collect the tailed beasts. Obito is in a daze. War. Lin died in the 3rd Ninja World War. Okay, now the manpower is almost ready, and we can start catching tailed beasts at any time, but be careful with Konoha. Taki Ninja Village, Star Ninja Village, Kusanagi Village and other forces have also started their own actions. For a while, clouds surged in all directions, and clouds moved in all directions, but just when the ninja world, which had been quiet for a few years, was about to set off waves again, an invitation letter was handed to the desk of the 5 Great Shadows. 5 Cages Conference. Tsunade frowned while holding the invitation letter in his hand. If world peace can be maintained through negotiations, where will there be the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Ninja World Wars? It's really whimsical, and she will never forget that the 2nd generation of Hokage Sensho Tobima died in the process of negotiating with Raikage. There may not be any moths breaking out in this 5 Shadows conference. But if she can confuse the other 4 shadows at the conference and buy Konoha a few years of peaceful development, then she will be fearless. Should you give it a try? Tsunade. Jiraiya squatted on the window. Why don't you ask Shun Uchiha? There was a great pain in my heart. His goddess, that was his goddess. I was given by that fool in front of the whole village, here. Ah, although I can't lie Shun, although Shun is also a victim, but it has been a month, a whole month, and I have been silent. What do you mean? Isn't Tsunade good enough for him? No, he must marry Tsunade. I'll go with you. Tsunade shook his head. I'll go by myself. For some things, it is better for her to face you alone. pick up the invitation letter and rush into Shun's courtyard in a hurry. In an instant, the veins burst out. As far as the eye can see, Konoha's Jonin and most of the members of the Anbu, even the head of the Anbu, gathered here to study ninjutsu. Where does this put her Tsunade? What? No wonder after a month of investigation, I still haven't found out why. If I can find out, it will be a ghost. After glaring bitterly at everyone present, Tsunade pushed open the door and strode into Shun's bedroom. And still sleeping soundly. Boom. Well, character appeared on Tsunade's forehead. She was so tired that she was dying. Every day, she either signed endless documents or dealt with endless things. But Shun is sleeping here comfortably and unrestrainedly. Tolerable or unbearable? He swung his fist the size of a sandbag and slammed it down, but was easily held by a pair of big hands, pulled backhand, and dragged into his arms. So angry in the morning. Do you want me to go for you? Tsunade's face turned red. Although she didn't understand what it meant, it was definitely not a good thing. Release. Hey, what's the rush? Instantly cast the technique of dark walk, completely enveloping the two of them. Let me have an in-depth discussion with Master Hokage. Tsunade is embarrassing. A woman always has some special feelings for a man, especially a man who occupies it for the first time. He tried hard to push it away, but found that his whole body was weak. It turned out that Shun had already pried open her lips and began to explore in her mouth. I don't remember which philosopher said that if you want to have a harmonious family, you only need to kiss once. If it really doesn't work, 2 kisses are absolutely fine. I just don't know if your iron kidney will work. After a while, his lips parted. Tsunade used his last rationality to block Shun's next move. Iron Country Mifune sent an invitation letter, inviting me to attend the 5 Cages conference. Do you think I will go? 5 Shadows conference. I was taken aback for a moment. Had the plot become such a mess before it even started? It's true that you don't have to go to the 3 Treasures Hall if you have nothing to do. Okay, I'll go with you. He wants to see how big a storm he has caused as a butterfly, and Tsunade is her woman no matter what. He can't let Tsunade be bullied again. Okay. After getting a satisfactory answer, Tsunade got up and prepared to flee, but was instantly thrown to the ground. Smelling the strong manly smell behind him, Tsunade's heart couldn't help but speed up. No, Tsunade, no. What you love is Duan. You and him are just a misunderstanding. You are just using him. Why, our Lord Shun, aren't you afraid that the little maid at home will be angry? Shun's body froze. What was he doing? Why would he be so disrespectful to Tsunade? When did he start to be lustful? Shaking his head, he carefully inspected every part of his body, and suddenly he found that yin chakra, which he had been unable to control, was slowly flowing in his body. Is it you? 6 ways. Is it because you changed the direction of the plot, so you want to be destroyed? HMPH, it's clear that everything can be changed, but it has to be shown at the last moment, and the power must be divided into 2 and given to Naruto Sasuke. Are you not afraid of seal failure? But all of this is unimportant. Wait a minute, when he asks Wei Yi to call him daddy, you, 6 paths, will be the one to look at. Withdrawing the technique of walking in darkness, lazily lay back on the bed. Okay, let's go. Tsunade's body froze, and he looked at Shun in disbelief. He was already like that, but stopped at the last moment. Is it because of the sentence just now? He cares so much about his little maid. Tsunade asked herself that she was still full of confidence in her own appearance and figure, but Shun would give up. What kind of person is Uchiha Shun? Suddenly she couldn't see through. Gritting his teeth. Okay, let's go in 3 days. Shu held her little hand tightly outside the door. Lord Shun did not disappoint her. And Terumi Mei, who was watching all this secretly, frowned. Has the medicine failed? How is it possible? It was specially made by her. If so, what does she do? Although she thinks her charm is not inferior to Tsunade, and she is younger than Tsunade, but there is not much difference. If Tsunade can't do it, it will be difficult for her to control Uchiha Shun with her beauty. Doesn't he have any weaknesses? 3 days later, Tsunade waited quietly at the gate of Konoha with shadow guards Kakashi and Kai, Staff Officer Shikahi Sonara, Liaison Officer Kaiichi Yamanaka, and Apprentice Yakushido. What the hell is that Uchiha Shun doing? It's already 12 o'clock, why hasn't he appeared yet? Pushing the glasses, 2 rays of light reflected. Master Hokage, do you want me to ask? Falling into a confused pocket, he is very interested in Shun, and has always wanted to find an opportunity to get close. A trace of hesitation flashed across Tsunade's face. She was very optimistic about Do, and hoped that Do could become her powerful assistant in the future. But she clearly felt the crazy heart hidden under Do's calm face. Although Do hides well, and is usually very smart, whether it is the ninjutsu or anything she explained, she does it very well. But Tsunade was still very wary of Todo, but she really didn't have anyone who could use it. I can only try to bring the pocket around and see if it can change. No need, I believe Master Shun is not a person who breaks his word. Since he promised me, he will definitely come. Yawn. As soon as the words fell, Shun had already appeared in front of everyone with Terumi Mei. Sorry, I just lost my way at the intersection of my life, so I'm a little late. Tang. The resentment is soaring. The naked eye can see thick black smoke rising from Tsunade's body. She is Hokage, Hokage. It's okay to let her wait for so long, and find such a bad reason. Take a deep breath. Let's go. He is still needed for this 5 cages meeting, and Konoha is all his people now, so don't mess with it, don't mess with it. Jilai also let out a long sigh after watching the group leave. Is this still the case? Order, step up your guard. Be sure to protect Konoha during the absence of Hokage. Although he didn't think that any daring idiot would dare to attack Konoha, the departure of Hokage and the strongest fighting force in the village still made him worried. Not far away, a pitcher plant poked out, showing a strange smile. Boss, the person you were worried about has left. Do you want to start the plan? Half a day later, Shun and the others, who didn't know about it, saw a small puddle of water suddenly appearing in front of them, and smiled knowingly. Only Tsunade was very upset, with a serious face. How far did she leave Konoha, and the assassination had already begun. It seems that this time, it is really a dragon's pond and a tiger's den. A group of people, without a word, calmly walked past the small water beach, but the moment everyone passed by, the water surged. 2 Wanin village rebels waved huge maces and smashed Kakashi, who was walking at the end, into a meat paste. But before the smug smiles could bloom on their faces, they heard a sound. Profound truth. 1,000 birds, 1,000 kills. Amidst the cheerful birdsong, Kakashi put his hands together into a tiger-like barrel and entered the back of Rebel Nine, and then the thunder attribute chakra wandered wildly in his body. The face of Renrene was a little intoxicated at first, and then quickly changed from blue to red, then purple, then green, colorful, and the cycle continued. Ow! The shrill scream startled countless birds and beasts. This sound seemed to contain all the pain in the world. Flying into the sky, at a speed far exceeding his own strength, he jumped more than 10 meters into the air, then braked with his face, and slid out for tens of meters abruptly. But he didn't care about these things. Now he could only pout at his buttocks. His legs trembled continuously, in an attempt to delay the severe pain that constantly stimulated his nerves. But every second was like a year to him. The pain that hit the soul really made him want to die. Chidori's powerful penetrating power combined with the 1,000-year killing critical strike of the White Fang secret technique, all those who have been recruited are still fresh in their memories, so it can be said that they will never forget it even if they die. Kill me, quick, kill me, please. Renegade A's face twisted, and he begged his companion intermittently. The remaining thunder chakra in his body was constantly moving back and forth between his large intestine and small intestine. And after the innate numbness dissipated, the gradually rising intense stimulation made him twitch even more, and even the strength to move his little finger disappeared. Kill me, quick, kill me. Rebel B looked at this scene in horror. He was not ready to die, but this shocking feeling that life was worse than death really shattered his inner defense. Turn around and run. Is this the new generation of Konoha White Fang? So brutal, so cruel, so terrible. Squeak. A blue figure pierced through his back with lightning speed. Ah! Rebel B let out a roar of unknown meaning. His eyes popped up and were covered with bloodshot eyes. At this moment, he seemed to see the light. However, Sasuke's strength was too great, and he directly pierced Renegade B's vitals, bleeding profusely, and soon he lost his life in a blur, one after another. Kakashi came to Sasuke's side. I told you many times, the key point of this trick is not the size of the chakra, but the precise control. It can't be too big, and it can't be too small. It must first reach the limit of the other party's tolerance, and then raise it little by little. Remember, this technique is not about killing with one move, but about letting the opponent fully taste the pain that feels like death for 1,000 years. Sasuke nodded coolly. I see. Since the first time he saw Chidori, he liked it very much. Kakashi patted Sasuke's head. Try a few more times, and you will be able to grasp the essence. Kakashi also helped this child very much, which made him seem to see his own childhood, so he didn't hide his secrets, and directly passed his original ninjutsu to Sasuke. Well, I also thought about passing it on to Naruto, but Naruto doesn't have blood wheel eyes to cooperate with Chidori's strength, let alone learn it at all. Kakashi deeply doubted whether Naruto was the biological son of his master Namikaze Minato. You must know that Minato's talent is very strong. Okay, let's go. Shun greeted, and everyone continued on their way. With Sasuke's current strength, everyone has already discovered his stalking, but they didn't say anything. The rebellion of the two Wanin villages was just the beginning. Along the way, various sneak attacks and assassinations continued to strike, which made Tsunade's face very ugly for a while. Do you think her new Hokage is a soft persimmon easy to bully? Mist Ninja, Cloud Ninja, Rock Ninja, Sand Ninja, even a bunch of Star Ninja, Snow Ninja and other small villages sent ninjas to assassinate her. HMPH, after 2 years, she will make them pay the price. 10 days later, Shun and his party finally came to the Iron Country, and Mifune came to greet them in person. Welcome, welcome, Hokage-sama, please come inside. He was really sweating because of Tsunade. If he was the assassination along the way, he might have knelt on the way. Fortunately, Tsunade arrived in the Iron Country safely, as long as she gives up joining the Uzumaki clan and recalls the Thousand Hands clan. I believe that the ninja world will continue to be peaceful. HMPH, who am I? Lei Yingying's guard Darui stood at the door with a knife. Isn't this Konoha's Hokage-sama and his little boy? Traveling all the way to the mountains and rivers, it really makes us wait. She also nodded at the side. Tisk tisk, don't even mention it, other cages only brought 2 people, and look at our Hokage-sama, we brought 7 people abruptly. Those who knew were here to participate in the 5 cages convention, but those who didn't know thought they were here for an outing. They had already received Leikaji's instructions to test out the state of Tsunade and the others when they first met. If it's possible, I doesn't mind taking action directly and obliterating Tsunade and others. When the time comes to face the leaderless Konoha, they will surely conquer Yunin village like a broken bamboo. As for the unfathomable Uchiha Shun's strength as stated in the data, they don't believe it. Unfathomable isn't Hokage. Unfathomable sleep every day. Besides, no matter how unfathomable it is, how powerful is Master Eye? Why is it so smelly? Shun sniffed the air. Where are the wild dogs barking? You. Darui was furious. A little boy, thought he could do whatever he wanted with Tsunade. Boy, this is not Konoha, don't be too arrogant, or you won't even know how you died. Shizi felt with all his strength. It was strange that there was no ambush, so why did the other party dare to be so arrogant? Immediately babbling and babbling, I don't want to talk more nonsense. Kakashi, go give them a big blowjob, let him jong memory. What? Everyone looked at Shun in shock. Young man, I know you are crazy, but I didn't expect you to be so crazy. Do you know where this is? Do you know what you're talking about? Give Lei Yingying guard Darui 2 big blows. It's like a joke, don't say you are a young man, even Onoki would not dare. Because that is bound to lead to a war. Ha ha ha. Darui laughed out of breath. He had never heard of anyone who dared to give the shadow guard a big punch. That hit was not only the face of the shadow guard, but the face of a ninja village. Putting down the knife, turning his face sideways, he hooked his fingers at Kakashi. Come on, Kakashi, come and slap me. I'll give you a chance, I want to see if you dare. All eyes were on Kakashi, ridiculed, disdainful, sarcasm. They want to see how the famous Kakashi steps down this time. Kakashi rolled his dead fish eyes, walked slowly in front of Darui, and raised his arms. The crowd is even more disdainful. Fight, you fight, they really don't believe that Kakashi dares to fight, then Konoha and Yunin village will definitely live forever. Put on airs, shame on others. This was the only thought in everyone's mind, including Darui. Clap. Two loud voices echoed in everyone's ears, and Kakashi retracted his arms. I heard it all. He asked me to fight. This is the first time I've heard of such a cheap request. Me, rough. Everyone was stunned. Shun's little boy doesn't know how deep it is, but you, Kakashi, a ninja, don't understand the situation. If you dare to provoke Cloud Ninja Village at this time, aren't you afraid of triggering the Fourth Ninja World War? Court death. Darui waited with red eyes. What a shame, what a shame. He is the sole successor of the Black Raikage of the third generation of Raikage, the second right hand of his fourth generation of Raikage, and his future fifth generation of Raikage. To be beaten by Kakashi in public. Pulling out the ninja sword, he was going to fight Kakashi desperately, but was stopped by Mifune. Don't be restless, don't be restless. Wiping the cold sweat that didn't exist on his forehead, Mifune really didn't expect that Konoha's famous Jonin Kakashi would do such an irrational thing. Don't you know that this 5 Cages conference is aimed at Konoha? Still dare to provoke. Everyone, don't get excited. I believe that everyone came here with sincerity, and everyone should not want a war to break out. So please calm down, restrain your behavior, and don't be impulsive. After all, force can't solve any problems. What I hope is that for the future of the ninja world and the peace of the ninja world, everyone can sit together and have a peaceful talk. Humph. Darui, who tried to break free from Mifune's shackles several times but failed, glared at Shun bitterly, blaming this arrogant little boy. It made him lose face. Want to talk about peace? Okay, fine, but Kakashi has to let me slap you back. At the same time, Darui pointed at Shun. This little boy must kneel and kowtow to apologize to me. Otherwise, don't blame me for reporting to Lord Raikage and launching a war. Chihaha let out a disdainful sneer, and mocked Darui. Why is it that everyone in Yunin village is virtuous and always sues Raikage to start a war? Nothing else. Kakashi, what are you waiting for? Since the other party is not convinced, why don't you let him experience what it means to be warm-hearted, and what it means to have a second life? Darui clamped his buttocks unnaturally, and took half a step back, although Kakashi was experimenting with ninjutsu at the border of Iwanan village. But they in Yunrin village have also seen the miserable appearance of the recruits. It can be said that once they are recruited, they will never forget it. And Kakashi is more terrifying than his father Hatake Tsuchiguru in that his millennium kill is faster and more lethal. Especially when Lei Dun Chakra was swimming back and forth on the fragile back, that kind of numbness, softness, plus the feeling brought by muscle spasms. It is said that it will make a person reach the extreme in an instant, the soul will go out of the body, and come to heaven. In the past, when he encountered Konoha Baya in a mission, the mission was not considered a failure. Now wherever Kakashi walked, all the ninjas dared not go to the bathroom, for fear that they would end up on a road of no return. Swallowing a mouthful of non-existent saliva, Darui pretended to be calm and roared at Kakashi. If you take a step forward, I will definitely let Raikage start a war. When the 4 major powers attack Konoha, you will be Konoha's sinner. Kakashi. Tsunade glared at Shun with some dissatisfaction, and directly ordered her shadow guards without passing her Hokage, but Kakashi was very obedient. This annoyed her very much. Doesn't she want to lose face as a Hokage? Take a step forward and stand in front of Kakashi to prevent him from doing any strange behavior. I'm Tsunade, the 5th Hokage. I would like to declare here that Konoha never takes the initiative to cause trouble, but if others want to bully Konoha, don't blame me for being rude. A tooth for a tooth, blood for blood. Anyone who offends me, Konoha, will be punished no matter how far away. The blatant and overbearing declaration shocked everyone into stunned silence. Who gave you the courage to dare to speak like this? You must know that even in the peak period of the 3rd generation, when you have a complete Sannin, Konoha White Fang, and Golden Glitter. He didn't even dare to do that, and you, Tsunade, are just one of the Sannin. How dare you shout so loudly? What a big breath. With a loud shout, the 4th generation of Raikage I, who is tall and extremely muscular, appeared in front of Tsunade. I want to see, how can you be killed no matter how far away? Come out, don't watch the show. Hee. Onoki put his hands behind his back and walked out from the left with a smile. Tsunade, it's been a long time since I've grown so big. Instead of mentioning Hokage, You call Tsunade by his first name, which means that you are just a junior, and you dare to speak out. Master Hokage. Luo Sha appeared from the right side with a gloomy face. You Konoha ninjas stole my village's corpse, should you give me an explanation? 3 powerful auras pressed straight towards Tsunade. As for the only 4th generation Mizukage Kutaki Yakura who did not show up among the 5 cages, he is still sitting in the room with a blank face, motionless. What do you want me to do? I'm just a puppet, a puppet. Just when the 5 cages were on the verge of firing, on the other side of the ninja world, Konoha and Nepenthes drilled out of the ground again. It can be confirmed that the only remaining masters in Konoha are Jiraiya and Uchiha Shisui. Nagato nodded. In that case, let Konoha taste the pain. With a wave of everyone, Pain Ludao got into the chameleon's mouth and sneaked towards the Konoha gate. As long as the 9 Tails Jinchuriki is captured, the remaining 8 will not be sufficient. When the time comes, the heretic golem will fully wake up. Uchiha Shun, he is nothing. There are people coming and going at the gate of Konoha, and it is very lively, with caravans and ninjas constantly coming in and out. Tong Ziti and Shenyu Izumo sat on the side conscientiously, while scanning the passing vehicles and pedestrians, carefully screening suspicious persons. But Konoha, as the head of the 5 major countries, is also located in the center, and the daily traffic is huge, and the 2 of them alone are completely beyond their capabilities. The chameleon easily rode on a carriage, jumped over the 2 of them, and walked towards the inside of Konoha. HMPH, Pain subconsciously thought, Tang Konoha is nothing more than that, there are only 2 of them in such an important place. Boom, a kunai stuck on the chameleon, making it show its figure, and at the same time, a piercing siren sounded. A large group of Konoha battle teams, Inuzuka clan, Yumi clan, Hyuga clan, Uchiha clan and other families showed up one after another. As early as a month ago, many sentient ninjas and elites of various races had taken turns guarding the Konoha gate. And after Shun, Tsunade and the others left the village, the vigilance was even fuller. Pain, careless, but it doesn't matter, as long as Uchiha is not there, no one in Konoha can resist him. Animal Dao clapped his hands on the ground. Spiritualism centipede. Spiritualism panda. Spiritualism 8-handed bird. Spiritualism. Of course, this batch is much smaller than the previous batch, because the previous batch was already the strongest that Pain could find. Ninjutsu Strange Wrist Rocket. Ninjutsu 5-Finger Missile. Ninjutsu Head Laser Cannon. Ninjutsu Mechanism Armor. The firepower is covered, the psychic beasts are running wildly, and as soon as Shiradao and Beast Dao make a move, it will be a blockbuster scene. Taking advantage of the chaos in the human world and hell, they captured several Konoha ninjas and began to read memories and judge information. They wanted to find out where the 9 Tails Jinchur power was at the first time. There was chaos, cries, roars, and screams, one after another. But the Konoha ninjas knew that they were invincible, but none of them backed down, and they all moved forward bravely, dragging Pain Ludao at the gate with their flesh and blood, unable to advance an inch. This desperate scene made Pain frown. Is this the true background of Konoha? Tai Chi back to heaven. Countless chakra threads appeared, pulled, causing the attacks of the Shiradao and the psychic beasts of the animal Dao to deviate from the track, and condensed into a continuously rotating whirlwind. Qian Dun goddess scattering flowers. Countless detonating symbols flew into it, roaring and exploding, turning the whirlwind into a sea of flames. Physical arts Konoha dragon god. A giant dragon descended from the sky, devouring the whirlwind of flames. Boom! All the missiles and all the psychic beasts disappeared, leaving only a little spark, flying away with the wind. Ning Si, Xiao Li, and Tian Tian came to Pain Ludao. HMPH, 3 brats. Shiradao snorted coldly, preparing to launch an attack again. Suddenly, darkness is coming. Illusion the art of darkness. Secret technique shadow binding technique. Secret technique the technique of doubling. Secret technique meat bomb chariot. Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino's new combo technique is unsolvable. As long as you are shrouded in darkness, you can't escape the shackles of the shadow at all, you can only stand obediently and be smashed into meatloaf. Boom! The darkness dissipated, and Shiradao had turned into a puddle of blood and merged into the earth. Animal Dao showed no emotional fluctuations, and still pressed his hands on the ground. Spiritualism. Crows flew all over the sky, surrounding the beasts, blocking their sight, and at the same time appearing from the crows, holding a black blade, launching a sneak attack. But he was easily dodged by Beast Dao. With his shared vision, this little trick couldn't escape his insight at all. He took a step back and dodged the attack, but another figure appeared from behind him. This time, he saw it, but he couldn't dodge it. Hinata's tender middle voice rang out. Soft boxing method 8 trigrams 32 palms. Aggressive, 32 blows in a row, quickly hit the animal Dao. The animal Wei dismissed it. This little strength was useless to him. As for sealing chakra, there is no way to talk about it. But, what is this whistling sound? Looking down, at least 32 detonating charms were embedded in his body. Hinata smiled shyly, and left at the same time with Bingzule and the others with Earth Escape. Rough. Animal Road let out a final roar and was blown to pieces. Hitting someone with 32 palms, Shun has complained more than once, such a fast speed, is it not good to insert the detonation charm? Absolutely dead, or the kind that can't be spelled out. The death of the two main forces made Tiandao even more irritable, and raised his right hand. Feel the pain. Shen Luo Tianzheng. The powerful repulsive force swept everything like a hurricane, overturning and sweeping everyone away. Tendo Yahiko's face gradually distorted and fell into madness. What are the pains you have endured compared to me? Sink in pain. Floating high into the sky, holding both hands high, suddenly, a super big pill appeared, Shanfa super big jade spiral pill. Hungry Ghost Daofei, who had been waiting for a long time, stood in front of Tiandao, opened his hands, and absorbed all the attacks. Ji Lai was also shocked. What kind of ninjutsu is it that can even absorb immortal magic? Fortunately, he was still prepared and shouted, Wentai. The huge ninja knife with a cold light interrupted Tiandao's movements, forcing him to change direction, Shenluo Tianzheng. Even with Wentai's huge size, he still couldn't carry it and was thrown hundreds of meters away. Great opportunity. Ji Lai squatted on the ground. Immortal method hair needle 1,000 copies. The attack, which should have been as dense as a storm, was sparse. He forgot that he was still a Mediterranean. It is easily resisted and absorbed by the hungry ghost Dao, and the hell Dao is also at this moment, resurrecting the killed animal Dao and Asura Dao. It was the first time that Pen Lu Dao officially appeared in front of everyone, and his powerful momentum made everyone terrified. Tendo Yahiko looked down at the crowd expressionlessly. Since you don't want to surrender, let's welcome the new life in pain. Everyone, don't be afraid. Jilai also jumped on Wentai's head. Konoha will not be defeated. If it wasn't for his Mediterranean, if it wasn't for his face full of toad signs, I would have almost believed it. Pain didn't talk too much nonsense. The other 5 ways prevented others from approaching. Tiandao Yahiko flew higher and higher, until he stopped at an altitude of 1,000 meters. The terrifying chakra is constantly fluctuating, making Jirai even more anxious. The destructive power is already amazing. If it explodes in accumulation, I don't know how terrible the damage will be. Senfa Goziman. Wind, fire, oil, the super large range of the combination of the 3 spells brings super power, and Hungry Ghost Dao has no choice but to start absorbing it with all his strength. But gradually his body began to distort and deform, because he absorbed too much magic chakra and began to petrify. Seeing this, the other Dao hurriedly wanted to come over to help, but Wentai's giant blade had already slashed in the air, and Renjian Dao swung around to dodge, but he didn't want another cold light flashing behind him. Toad Hiroshi's double blades easily divided him into 4 sections. Hell Dao was shocked. Why are there still? His vision darkened, and a harpoon full of thorns appeared behind him. When he wanted to avoid it, a strange sound came. Immortal art illusion art Toad sings. The space was distorted, and the pupils of the remaining 4 paths including Tiandao began to flip, and their bodies twitched, as if they were having an epileptic seizure, and they kept dancing on the spot. Ji Lai also took out a stone sword and pierced the hearts of Shira Dao and Beast Dao, and Hell Dao has been smashed into meat by Hama Jian. 5 of Pain's 6 realms have gone, and only 1 heavenly realm, Yahiko, is left floating in the sky. Jiraiya stands shoulder to shoulder with Fukasaku, Zima and the 2 gods, and behind them stand the 3 big hooligans of Mount Miaomu, Ah Ba, and the 3 big toads. Hama Wentai, Hama Jian, and Hama Guang have 3 hill-like bodies, full of momentum. Yahiko, Surrender. Yahiko didn't answer, but raised his hands. Wanxiang Tianyan. The strong suction makes Jilai uncontrollably sucked into the air, just about to move. Shen Luo Tianzheng. The huge repulsive force knocked Jiraiya back to the original place. Puff. A mouthful of reverse blood spewed out from Jiraiya's mouth, summoned 3 psychic beasts, and used large ninjas again and again. His chakra was running out. Take a deep breath. Everyone, please. One person, 5 toads attack at the same time. Concealed weapon art toad double sword slash. Fire escape toad oil flame bomb. Water dungeon iron cannon cloud. Psychic roof collapsing art. Yahiko watched all kinds of ninjutsu rushing blankly, with one hand raised above his head and the other down. Shen Luo Tianzheng. The powerful repulsive force bounces Toad Ken away, and destroys all ninjutsu at the same time. With the blessing of the cells between the columns, Nagato can already unleash all kinds of ninjutsu wantonly. Wanxiang Tianyan. Suction Jiraiya into the air, earth explosion star. The earth began to collapse, and boulders one after another gathered in the sky in a way that violated the gravity of the earth, slowly enveloping Ji Lai Yi. Bang bang bang. Without the support of chakra, the 3 Bunta brothers disappeared first, and then Shima and Fukasaku were also forced to disappear and return to Mt. Myogi. Puff. Ji Lai also sprayed out a blood arrow. Is his hero story coming to an end? He is so unhappy. He hasn't seen Naruto changing the world yet. He hasn't waited for Tsunade's return yet. He still has. Jung. A green-threaded giant sword split the earth explosive star in 2, and Shisui stood on it with his hands folded, looking down at Yahiko. Let your body come out. Yahiko frowned. Did he get exposed so soon? Raise your hands. You are about to launch an attack. Zishui quickly seals. Secret technique Phantom instant body technique. Illusion the art of Sha servant. Uchiha swordsmanship flash cut. Combined ninjutsu fantastic blade waltz. Long swords floated in the sky above Yahiko, and 5 figures swung their swords at the same time. It was hard to tell which one was true and which one was false. The afterimages all over the sky cut back and forth in Yahiko's body in 1/100th of an instant, just like a blooming flower. The beauty is full of deadly killings. Ha! Nagato snorted. The successive destruction of the 6 paths also had a considerable impact on him. Xiaonan showed hesitation. Why don't you forget it? Didn't he say that Yahiko could be resurrected? She has no lofty ideals, she just wants the 3 of them to live happily together. Wiping off the blood overflowing from the corner of his mouth, Nagato stood up. If you miss this opportunity, it will be very slim to catch 9 tails again. He will never forget the humiliation of being stepped on by Shun and called, Dad, Dad. He must let Shun also experience this pain. Of course he wouldn't kill Shun either. After all, the other party not only healed his legs, Yahiko's resurrection also depended on Shun. Flying up, Xiaonan sighed and followed quickly. She always felt that the person who called himself Uchiha Madara had bad intentions. One after the other, the 2 came to the front of Konoha. Just as Nagato appeared, the strong sense of oppression made it difficult for everyone in Konoha to breathe. Hand over 9 tails, and I will spare you from dying. Zishui looked dignified. The legendary immortal eye was really extraordinary, but if he dared to come to Konoha to make trouble, he would never return. Ahem. Jiraiya weakly got up from the ground. Nagato, Xiaonan, is it really you? Why are you attacking Konoha? Yahiko, how did he become like that? Countless questions swirled in Jiraiya's mind. The first time he saw the eyes of reincarnation, he thought of the 3 apprentices he met in Urinen village. I thought that Nagato with the eyes of reincarnation would be the savior, but never thought that he was the one behind the scenes who wanted to destroy Konoha. Ah! Nagato let out a painful roar. How innocent and kind they used to be, but what happened? Why did it become like this? It's not that you big countries provoke wars for their own interests. His parents died tragically at the hands of Konoha ninja, and Yahiko was persecuted by Danzo in collusion with Hanzo, and was crushed to death at the hands of Nagato. Partners disappeared in smoke, and loved relatives and friends turned into dead souls. Those once good things are getting farther and farther away from him, leaving only pain to wrap him up. Let's feel the pain together. Super Shenluo Tianzheng. The repulsive force, which was at least 10 times stronger than ordinary Shinra Amazon, was released from Nagato's hands, and Shisui barely resisted with Susanoo. This is still not the case that Nagato has no power. Shisui's eyes are dignified. No, he can't let him continue to destroy like this. Secret technique, phantom instant body technique. Secret sword, obscure moon knight. Illusion, this is not the other. Combined ninjutsu, ferry to the underworld. Chapter 91. The moment the ninja knife was drawn, countless avatar phantoms gushed out of Shisui's body, and even Nagato's main body couldn't tell which was the real body, which was the avatar, and which was the phantom. The figures are staggered, and the extreme speed pulls out afterimages, the cold light is dazzling, and countless figures attack at the same time. All over the sky, it's hard to tell the truth from the fake. Shenluo Tianzhong. Nagato's back stretched out, 4 arms, 2 heads, all round, no dead angle control and repulsion, knocking away all creatures and attacks that want to approach. The organ armor from Hungry Ghost Road is even more domineering when used by Nagato. Moreover, he has been manipulating the 6 realms all year round, and he has long been used to one mind and 6 functions. Drawing squares with his left hand and circles with his right is nothing to him. On this basis, he can draw a triangle with his left foot, a rectangle with his right foot, a cylinder with his butt, and a trapezoid with his tongue. Nagato floated high in the sky, indifferently looking down at all the living beings below. You have never really felt pain, let me tell you, all of this. 3 heads, 6 eyes facing the lower left and upper right respectively, and at the same time, the 6 arms are raised, condensing strong repulsion and suction respectively. Destroy it. Secret of reincarnation, infinite hell. The interplay of repulsion and suction made Nagato's body start to rotate at a high speed, driving the surrounding airflow to turn into a huge tornado, suddenly appearing between the sky and the earth in less than a second. The earth was lifted up, the clouds were pushed away, and the scene of destroying the world was deeply engraved in the hearts of everyone in Konoha. Nagato, who possesses the cells between the columns and has returned to his peak state, is unrivaled. The green chakras are constantly condensing, Shisui's eyes are bleeding, and the power of his pupils is released, and the Susanoo in full body is getting higher and higher, higher and higher. After nearly 300 meters, Shisui held up the ninja sword, and the huge Susan drew out the green threaded sword at the same time. Behind him, giant swords began to emerge one after another. Profound truth, gate of the underworld, tombstone of death. Buzz. There is no other sound between heaven and earth, only the sound of swords. The endless giant sword swung down quickly towards the tornado, with entities and phantoms, roaring and shaking constantly. Everyone opened their mouths wide and stared blankly at this scene. Is this a ninja fight? This is so special. Is it a fight between gods and gods? The violent sound can be clearly heard hundreds of miles away, but the seemingly sharp giant sword is constantly collapsing and disappearing, and the tornado is still raging. Blood flowed from Zishui's eyes again, and he clasped his hands together to hold the hilt of the sword. Under the scorching sun, countless giant swords began to fuse together. Soon, a giant sword over 500 meters long was born. Cut! Zishui let out a roar, and the huge giant sword slashed down in the air. Boom! The earth collapsed, and countless stones were lifted hundreds of meters away. Feel the pain, experience the pain, accept the pain, know the pain. While roaring, the chakra in Nagato's whole body began to spurt desperately, and the already huge tornado inflated 3 times out of thin air. Like a gigantic pillar of the sky, it connects to Juyu and reaches the sky. Bang! In an instant, the super huge sword over 500 meters was shattered, turning into a sky full of stars, fluttering. Ha ha ha! Nagato's big laughter came. In infinite pain, from a mortal to a god. I want to put an end to this war-torn world, this is God's mission. Fear will suppress war, reborn from the cocoon, Konoha. Overtake. Boom. A huge X appeared, interrupting all Nagato's movements. Time stopped, the huge tornado stopped moving, began to collapse, and dissipated. Shisui penetrated through it in an instant and hid Nagato. Ah! With a groan, 2 huge blood arrows shot out from Nagato's chest. The bones were visible, and everyone could even clearly see the beating heart inside. Whoosh! Shisui retracted Susan, and 2 bloodstains began to slide down from the corners of his eyes to his chin, and drops of blood kept falling on the ground. Without the eternal kaleidoscope blood wheel eye, every use will cause a great burden. This is also the reason why Itachi became terminally ill in the later stage, but is it true that only the kaleidoscope fusion of 2 brothers can give birth to eternity? Or must it be the reincarnation of Indra? This is too coincidental, as if fate has already arranged everything. Nagato weakly took out a dark green test tube and looked at Shisui. I admit, you are very strong. But the powerful side effects of Shuilunian are destined not to last. Zishui wanted to stop it, but all the nerves in his body were protesting. His body shook, but it was too late to stop it. Accompanied by the injection of the unknown liquid, Nagato let out a painful roar. This tube of potion obtained from Orochimaru. It is said that it can make people recover quickly, and the price is life. The more serious the injury, the more life lost. In a second, the wound on Nagato's chest healed. In 2 seconds, Nagato floated in midair again. In 3 seconds, the 3 heads and 6 arms reappeared, and Nagato returned to his peak. Zishui let out a long sigh. Okay, since that's the case, come out, Konoha's blue beast. Bang bang bang. The hungry and thirsty Akamichi Dingza, who had been waiting for a long time, came to the center with his fat body, and Nagato suddenly had an extremely bad premonition. 8 gates Dunjia 7th gate, startling door, open. Blue steam appeared suddenly, and Ding Zuo's body emitted bursts of white smoke. Soon thick eyebrows, big eyes, pot head, and a green vest that has never changed for thousands of years appeared in Nagato's eyes. Leave the rest to me. Kai gave a thumbs up. This feeling. It's youth, it's blood. At the same time, Kai besides Tsunade also changed back to Ding Zuo's appearance. How could Zuludi be separated? Moreover, it is enough to have Shunsama by Tsunade's side. Nagato calmly looked down at Kai, who was imposing like a rainbow, but still full of urges to complain. An idiot who only knows physical skills, wants to stop me. Wishful thinking. Day tiger. Without hesitation, the strongly compressed air turned into a fierce tiger and rushed towards Nagato. Nagato held in the air contemptuously. Bang! The tiger was crushed abruptly. It's so powerful, Kai couldn't help exclaiming. Then, let my blood burn completely. The 8th gate of Dunjia, the gate of death, open. Boom! The blood-red steam reached directly into the sky, and the powerful momentum set off a strong wind. Without any action, it was just opened. Even Nagato, who was already at a high altitude, had to choose to avoid his edge and retreat 30 meters temporarily. Squinting his eyes, Nagato's heart set off a huge wave. Don't you hesitate, this directly blooms the last hymn of life. For partners, or for home. Nagato's heart seemed to be touched. For the first time, he praised. Mateike, live up to your reputation. Konoha, there are indeed a lot of talents. Come on, let me see the power of physical knowledge, ah. Teeth flew out of the mouth. Nagato stared blankly at the sky. What happened just now? Boom! Another leg whip hit Nagato's stomach, causing all his viscera to be thrown out of his body. This speed, this power, it is worthy of the power that can only be exchanged for withered life. But this is not enough, raised his arms, Shenluo Tianzhong. A powerful repulsion force flooded the 30-meter range around Nagato, and Kai broke into his domain by mistake. The figure slowed down, the muscles twisted, and the veins burst out, but even so, he could only move forward slowly like a snail. Let's stop here. Nagato's eyes turned, and his 5 fingers spread out, 5-finger missile. Iron block doesn't move like a mountain. Kai turned on the overlord body at the last second, hardened the damage, and exited around Nagato. My blood is boiling even more. Kai ignored the blood at the corner of his mouth and started running around Nagato excitedly. Bloom, my youth, Shixiang. The superpower forms a beam of light in the air. Boom, visible to the naked eye, Nagato's Shenluo Tianzhong was blown out of a groove. What? Nagato was shocked by the huge force and kept moving back. Suddenly, 2 feet. Another force came from behind, and the two attacked each other. Nagato suddenly spurted out a mouthful of blood, which was fixed in the air. Shocked in my heart, I tried my best to maintain Shenluo Tianzhong, forming a transparent egg shell to resist. 3 feet. Sufficiency. Almost at the same time, 2 beams of light appeared on the left and right sides of Nagato. Puff. Another blood arrow spurted out, and the powerful force made Nagato's body in the center make an unbearable click. Wuzu. The huge beam of light that fell from the sky blasted the irregular egg shells into the ground. Boom. The continuous loud noise rose together with a small mushroom cloud, and the earth set off a huge wave more than 10 meters high that spread outward like the surface of water. It was not until more than 100 meters before it could barely stop. Whoosh! Kai stood there panting. At this moment, no one dared to laugh at him anymore. Ahem! The corner of Nagato's mouth was bleeding, and his face twitched. It was because his muscles were constantly being destroyed and regenerated. 2 white hairs appeared on his forehead, and even the exuberant vitality of the Whirlpool clan couldn't bear the consumption. Nagato looked at the blood-red figure. Your efforts are worthy of recognition. 8-Gate Dunjia, unparalleled in the world. Mitekai, the blue beast, I would like to call your physique the strongest. Thumb and thumb intersect, index finger and index finger together, compression super Shenluo Tianzheng dragon break. The air distorted, the sun and the moon changed color, and the strong repulsive force had already set off hundreds of meters of wind and rage. A ripple seems to be approaching Kai very quickly, and under this blow, the entire Konoha may be turned into ruins. Kai lowered his body, stood with his feet apart, one in front of the other, clasping his hands to the ground to accumulate energy. Boom! As if the ground was struck by thunder, a deep pit of tens of meters appeared in astonishment, and the red steam turned into a dragon, roaring to the sky. Knight, K. Shenlong said, nothing can be taken for. If the battle between Shimizu and Nagato just now was a fight between gods, then for everyone in Konoha, it is the descending of a demon god and the collapse of the world. The moment the ripple formed by Long Duan was touched by Ye Kai, it shattered, destroyed, and dissipated like a mirror. The air around Nagato began to freeze, as if it was firmly bound by a prison. Xiaonan flew into the sky regardless of the danger of his life. Countless detonating talismans poured down like a torrential rain, but they had no effect, and were wiped out before they got close. Nagato put his hands together, his fingers spread out, and the chakra of his whole body gathered in it. Om! A black spot grew from small to large, and the terrifying coercion made everyone in Konoha feel terrified even in the distance. I'm afraid that the black dot passing through the air around them is enough to directly vaporize them, from the vaporization at the cellular level, erasing all traces of existence. Secret of reincarnation, death reincarnation. Boom! The condensed black sphere with a long tail meets Ye Kai, silently. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, crack. Boom! The world seemed to be shaken, the infinite storm overturned everything, there was no cloud in the sky, and there was only a piece of terracotta left on the earth. Even a centimeter of bumps on the ground did not exist, and everything seemed to be smoothed by some indescribable existence and disappeared. After a while, the world finally returned to calm. Kai was lying on the ground covered in blood-red cracks, motionless. His life is coming to an end. Cough cough pop. Nagato drilled out from the ground in the distance, and he used a substitute technique to leave at the last second of the explosion. Even so, the powerful aftermath still caused him to be seriously injured. Nearly a quarter of the red hair had turned into white hair, and Xiaonan was silent for a while. Does it worth? She really wants to ask, is it all worth it? Ha ha ha. Nagato stopped recovering. He was afraid that before he fully recovered, he would have exhausted his life first. I was wrong, I am not a god, I am not far beyond the power of mortals, I have not changed the strength of the entire ninja world. Mike, you deserve my admiration. However, Konoha, if you don't surrender Nine Tails Jinchuriki today, I will still wipe you out. Really? Shisui looked at Nagato playfully. Kai, how does the 8th gate feel? Nagato, rubbing his eyes in doubt, he stared at the figure that suddenly appeared next to Ji Shui. How did he come back to life? This is impossible, he is dead. Looking at the place where Kai just fell to the ground, the deep pit is still there, but Kai's body has disappeared. Hiss. Kai showed his white teeth and said with aftertaste. The feeling of youth is indescribable. It can be said that it is wonderful. Master Shun is really clever, he can come up with such a method. Let me experience the ultimate of Baman Dunjia. On his arm, 3 of the 7 three-goat jade blood wheel eyes have been completely closed, and the other one is slowly closing. It's just that the price is too heavy, and 4 of them will be consumed at one time. Azanagi, a forbidden technique of the Uchiha clan, will inevitably blind one blood wheel eye every time it is activated. Accompanied by that terrifying power, the caster can erase all the things that happened to him that were not good for him in a period of time. Even death is fine. Invincible. Puff. Nagato spit out a mouthful of old blood. He was numb, he was completely numb. There are 10,000 words in his heart, sell it, and don't know whether to say it or not. Isn't this bullying honest people? What's more, why do you play like this? It's still a thread. Don't say he can resist Yikai a few times. Even if he can resist, do you know how many blood eyes he has? Nagato's heart is broken. Obito looked at this scene in a daze. Is Konoha already like this? Let alone Nagato now, he doesn't even have the confidence to withstand Konoha's torment. Can he really gather all the 9-tailed beasts to become 10 tails Jinchuriki? No, for Lin, he will definitely be able to. Not far away, Orochimaru stood in the mouth of the snake, sticking out its long tongue excitedly, hissing, "This is interesting." However, this group of psychics is really weird. The 5 major nations that are also human beings dare not say that they are completely intimate when fighting against foreign enemies. Why is the toad on MT? Meowmu so willing to help human beings? Does it do them any good? 10,000 snakes at least asked for a gift, and Mount Meowmu only needs the user to provide chakra, and they will be willing to risk death to help the summoner. Will it even help the summoner practice immortal mode? This is very strange. It is said that there is no benefit, and Dashimaru does not believe that Myoki Mountain will be so sacred, let alone human beings. What does it have to do with them? Are they not afraid that one day when humans become stronger, they will be enslaved? My family, its heart must be different. He was suddenly very interested in what Uchiha Shun asked him to investigate. Grab the snake's head, pull it to the front, and stare at the reflection in its cold vertical pupils. Orochimaru can become what it is today, and it has a lot to do with Ryujidong's help. Thinking about their Sanin's psychic beast, a layer of mist seemed to cover it, and with 5 fingers, they crushed the snake's head. It seems that he needs to check his own brain and even his soul, otherwise why has he never noticed something wrong before? With Kai's resurrection, the plan to surprise Konoha failed completely this time, and countless spies ignored the risk of exposure. Pass on all the details of this battle, they must re-examine this Konoha they think is a piece of fat. Nagato smiled bitterly. Ahem, Xiaonan, let's go. His condition is very bad, and he has the eyes of reincarnation. He believes that Konoha will not let him go. But Xiaonan is insignificant. As long as he can delay for a while, I believe he can still escape. Xiaonan grabbed Nagato's shoulder expressionlessly and spread out his huge white wings. It was too late to say anything now. But she also doesn't want Nagato to be trapped in Konoha. It is conceivable that with today's circumstances, once captured, Konoha will definitely conduct countless experiments on Nagato. Just as he spread his wings and was about to fly into the air, and his feet were similar to those of Shiranui Genma, Daiwaxi jointly launched the Flying Thunder God Art, and appeared near Xiaonan with Aoba, Moonlight Hayate and others. Secret technique: the technique of scattering thousands of crows. Ninja Chinbenyu. Earth Dungeon Earth Flow Wall. Konoha Ryu Swordsmanship Dance of the 3 Suns and Moons. Water Escape Great Waterfall Technique. Illusion: this is not the other. 4 high walls rose, and there were countless crows circling in the sky. At the same time, Senbon, Ninja Sword, surging waves and various illusions all attacked Xiaonan's wings and limbs. What they want is to be captured alive, not beheaded. Xiaonan looked anxiously at the Konoha people who were getting closer and closer in the distance, and made seals with both hands. Feng Dun crushes harm. The powerful air mass tears everything like a storm. It can not only clear the field, but also create a vacuum and break the illusion. Boom boom boom. Bing Zule and the others hurriedly dodged. They underestimated this weak woman, looked at each other, and sealed again. Suddenly a hand sprang out from the ground. The art of cutting in the heart of Earth Dun. Earth Dungeon Earth Flow Great River. Bing Zule did not notice at the same time, and was dragged into the soil, leaving only a head, and before he could react, the ground turned into a flowing river and forcibly washed it away. Not good. The enemy came to support again, and one person was sent to rescue in the same foot. Moonlight Hayate slashed at Obito floating out of the ground with a ninja knife in his hand. There was a trace of disdain in Obito's scarlet Schwalen eyes. If he wasn't afraid that Konoha would have some secret weapon, he could easily deal with these few people. The blur was activated, and the ninja sword passed through his body without causing any waves. Obito kicked him away under the shocked eyes of Moonlight Gale. Grabbing Moonlight Gale's wrist, and kicking him away with his shocked eyes. Fire Escape Blast Wind Flurry Dance. The combination of kaleidoscope blood wheel eyes and fire escape ninjutsu distorts the space to cause a whirlwind storm, and then the fire snake emerges. The range is huge, the speed is extremely fast, and the power is also very extraordinary. Earth Dungeon Earth Flow Wall. Earth Dungeon Earth Flow Wall. Earth Dungeon Earth Flow Wall. Shiranui Xuanjian and the others frantically released ninjutsu to resist, horrified in their hearts. Where did these people come from? Why are all of them so powerful? Obito is even more disdainful, and there is only one person Konoha can make him feel afraid of, and that is Uchiha Shun. As for Kai, who just opened all 8 doors, he didn't take it to heart. No matter how strong you are, Ye Kai, can you still kick the void and come to the Shinwei space? When they came to Nagato and Konan, they were about to activate their divine power and suck them into the space. Shocking door, open. Seeing that the enemy wanted to escape, Kai directly opened the 7th door, Day Tiger. The roaring tiger didn't make Obito's face fluctuate, but his face changed drastically in the next second. Qian Dun 1001 Nights. Physical Arts Shadow Leaf Dance. Tai Chi 8 Diagrams Empty Palm. Combined Ninjutsu Fulian Fury. The 1001 detonating talismans every day were drawn by Ningxi with the power of Tai Chi, and accelerated by Xiao Li. Forming a blooming lotus will envelop the 3 of Obito. Turning on Shinwei now, I am afraid that the 3 of them will succeed in death, grave. These brats. Obito glared at Ningxi and the 3 of them viciously. When he was so old, he struggled to cast a big fireball, but now the kid makes him feel perverted. Psychic Heretic Golem. Nagato spit out another bloody arrow, and used the last chakra to summon 10 tails to resist the damage. Go. Obito frowned. No, without Nagato, he couldn't become 10 tails Jinchuriki, so I'm sorry, Konan. With one palm, Xiaonan was knocked out of the protection of the golem of the outer way, and the next second, the violent explosion stopped suddenly. Tiantian and the others stopped attacking in shock, looking at Obito, who pushed his companion out to block his death in order to delay time. Angry in their hearts, they feel that Obito has insulted the most inseparable place in their hearts. HMPH, Konoha, you're still so kind, that's fine. Obito ignores their eyes and unleashes Kamui with all his might. No, Nagato only managed to utter a single word before being sucked in and disappearing together with Obito. On the other side, Onogi, who just received the news, looked at Tsunade in shock. Is Konoha already so powerful? Even though Hokage is not in the village, and even though he has hired the most powerful immortal eye, he still fails. That is the eyes of the immortal. Even he dare not say victory, but was repulsed by Konoha. In an instant, Onoki's heart fell to the bottom. There is not even a single person in Yanran village who can learn how to escape dust, and Konoha, one genius after another, keeps appearing in the world. Jealousy. If jealousy can kill, Tsunade probably died tens of thousands of times in a second. Then I also got the news from the spies. He knew Onoki's actions a long time ago. Although he is arrogant, he also understands the truth that the snipe and the clam compete for the fisherman's profit. Once Onoki succeeds, Konoha and Iwanan village will never die, so that when he attacks Konoha, he will have less worries. At that time, even if Onoki wants to unite with Konoha, Konoha won't believe him. However, Onoki's method failed, or did it fail so miserably? The few words of the secret report were all shocking, and I had to re-examine Tsunade. Could this be the legacy left by the god of ninja? HMPH. I snorted coldly. Let's go. Rosa. Didn't we Sankage force Konoha just now? Why did you, Lei Ying, become cowardly all of a sudden? What is Zeta Saishu? Cage is the best writing. Don't look at the strength of Sand Ninja Village, and always want to make trouble. His eyes are high and his hands are low, no wonder his death is unclear. Did I let you go? Shun stepped forward with disbelief, hugging Tsunade's small waist. Isn't it pretty fierce just now? Why are you so cowardly? I stared at Shun's eyes. Boy, you'd better not provoke me, otherwise. What else? Shun said disdainfully. Why don't you sue the 3rd generation of Raikage and start a war? Do you need me to dig him out for you first, you ask? Boom. The violent thunder attribute chakra burst from Ai's body. Aren't you afraid of our 4 kingdoms siege? You must know that war can not only be changed by a few people. And, I don't mind keeping you here. Shun was the first and last to dare to mock Raikage like this. He was already ready to kill. His eyes fluttered. Darui and Shin understood, and Luo Sha was also eager to try. He had seen enough of the scene of yellow sand all over the sky. A bowl of rice in the morning. Dute, how can he eat a mouthful of sand? The most annoying thing is that the economy of the whole village still needs to be maintained by him, Fengyiang, digging gold mines. Otherwise, the whole village might not even be able to eat the soil. But he is Case, not a miner. Onoki was very hesitant. He was very clear about the wolf ambitions of Yunnan village. Once Konoha was destroyed, Yan'an village must be the next one. What's more, the hatred between the two villages is no less than that between Yunren and Konoha. He doesn't believe that I will stop moving forward after getting Konoha. How can jackals be fed? There is only that fool Luo Sha, who only wants to overthrow Konoha. The best choice for him in Iwanan village is to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight, scanning Konoha and the others, Ikacho, Kakashi, Naruto Tsunade, and a little white-faced Uchiha Shun. The preparation can be said to be very sufficient, but why do you still bring a kid? Could it be the illegitimate child of Uchiha Shun and Tsunade? If Sasuke knew what Onogi was thinking at this moment, would he stab Onoki in the back with Chidori? Wait, why is there a person from Mist Ninja Village? Is the fourth generation of Mizukage still showing up? Could it be that Konoha has already secretly united with Mist Ninja Village? Over the years, Goju Yagura has implemented the Blood Mist rule, causing his spies to die one crop after another, and there is no useful news for him to analyze at all. No, you must first fight against Konoha's arrogance, especially not to allow the Thousand Hands and Uzumaki to return to Konoha. Let the little boy Uchiha Shun and that brat leave alive today, and everyone else, including Tsunade, stay behind. Yes, Onoki is the same as Kumo Ninja Village. He doesn't pay attention to Shun at all, and even thinks that he is just Tsunade's little boy. The tension filled the courtyard again, and Mifune was sweating coldly. He invited Wukage to let them sit down and talk, not to let them break out in the Iron Kingdom. Everyone, please listen to me. In the past 100 years, I believe that many of your relatives and friends died in the First, Second, and Third Ninja World Wars. Have you gained anything? No, there is nothing for everyone but grief. So I sincerely hope that everyone can sit down and have a good talk, and cherish this endless peace. Okay, Anamu took the lead to borrow the donkey from the slope. It would be best if there was no fight. His old waist really didn't support him to use force at will. Master Hokage, as long as you hand over all the Uzumaki clan, I can pretend that what happened today didn't happen. Tsunade is called when he uses force to overwhelm others, and of course he is called Hokage when talking about things. Tsunade naturally understands Onoki's little trick. The Whirlpool clan is my Konoha's allies. What's wrong with me taking my allies? It's you, this group of sanctimonious guys. I haven't counted on you for destroying the country of the vortex. Luo Sha folded his hands on his shoulders. Master Hokage, don't spit blood on people. The kingdom of Vortex was destroyed by a group of mysterious people. Do you have any evidence that we did it? Without evidence, I'm going to lose my temper. Tsunade was furious. If you didn't participate in the 4 major countries, those small countries would be able to destroy the country of the Whirlpool. Master Tsunade, are you saying that we are all bad guys? I stepped forward. Could it be that Konoha is the only one that is bright? Then I, Yunnan village, have to peel off Konoha with the rest of the 3 kingdoms to see if it is as black as us. The blue veins on Tsunade's forehead are bulging. Is it really going to go to war with the other 4 countries? Are you bullying my wife? Shun tilted his head. When you bully my wife, you are bullying me. Bullying me is equivalent to bullying my brothers of Konoha. Luo Sha frowned. He, San Shinobi, didn't have any spies in Konoha, and he didn't know about Uchiha Shun's information. Hokage is your wife. Who are you? Since you asked sincerely. Shun saw a black shadow slowly approaching Darui, and said, deliberately delaying time. Then I will tell you mercifully. Presumably, everyone present here knows my name, Konoha Chen Haonan. It doesn't matter if you don't know each other, I will introduce it again. My name is Uchiha Shun. That's right, it's the Uchiha Shun who beat up the 3rd generation old man and forced him to abdicate. I am the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, and the 5th Hokage is my wife. I cover the sky with one hand in Konoha, arrogant and domineering. Rosa, what is this? He asked. Who are you? Are you still arrogant? Do you think this is Konoha? He saw Uchiha Shun's little boy looking for death. He was about to activate his blood succession boundary when his hands were sealed, when suddenly, Shun stretched out 5 fingers and pressed his hands down. Hey, don't worry, wait until I finish talking. What? Luo Sha, and Onogi looked at Shun's palm in shock. When? So fast. They are dignified movie-level masters, but they didn't even notice how Shun made the move. After living for so many years, Onogi had an absurd thought in his heart for the first time. Could all the information be true? Impossible. He also knows the strength of Sarutobi Hiruzen of the 3rd Hokage, so he wants to hang him with an unknown suspension car. Yes, as soon as he received the information, Onoki had asked someone to investigate all the information before Shun. The 3rd generation and the Uchiha clan showed their love, and they were classmates with Asma, and there was a tail card in the class. When they were more than 10 years old, they barely opened a hook to advance to Chunin. He didn't believe that such a person could become a shadow-level master in just a few months. Well, he didn't know that Konoha's suspension car is so powerful. Jiraiya, Obito, and Naruto are all suspension cars. And he doesn't know that there is a thing in this world called time travel, and there is a thing called cheating. Seeing that the black shadow has come behind Darui, the corner of his mouth raised, and he continued. And I think Konoha is the most powerful village in the ninja world, so I think that in the ninja world, only Konoha should exist. Everything else should go away. What do you mean? Luo Sha's face was gloomy. Only you Konoha, so what are we? Ah, good question. Instantly patted Fengiying Luosha on the shoulder. If you are interested, it can be added to our Konoha, but it must be screened first. Because we, Konoha, only have elites, we will never accept music. Rosa, what? You said I was Lasei. Hey, no, don't misunderstand. Shun returned to Tsunade's side, scanning everyone present. I'm not targeting you, I'm just saying, everyone who is doing it is happy. Rosa, Mifune, Onoki, everyone. Boy, do you know that you are so arrogant and easy to get beaten? The last time we were present were all shadow guards, and there were 4 shadows of a village, and 3 of them were shadows from the 5 most powerful ninja kingdoms. You actually said that we are les. I've seen someone so arrogant, I've never seen someone as arrogant as you. The master humiliated his ministers to death, not to mention that this is no longer an insult. This is so special, why did they not treat them as human beings? Darui made seals with both hands. Ziyin Shu-si, Landun encourages frustrating locks. The clasped hands condense multiple laser beams made of water vapor. This technique can not only lure the opponent, but also turn the corner. It is the representative ninjutsu of the 3 generations of Raikage blood successor boundary Landun. However, just before the launch, 1,000 birds chirped and lightning flashed everywhere. Everyone looked at Kakashi in surprise, but saw Kakashi spread his hands, indicating that it was not him. That is, boom, Sasuke's figure turned into white smoke and disappeared. Thunder Dun 1000 bird flow. Secret technique Millennium Kill. Combined ninjutsu mystery lightning poisonous dragon drill. The powerful lightning chakra covered Sasuke's whole body, and the high-speed rotation caused the kunai in his hand to vibrate crazily like an electric drill. Darui was careless for a moment, and was hit in the back of the heart, and a small hole was drilled out of the proud chakra armor in an instant. A powerful electric current crazily poured into its vitals, and the powerful numbness and muscle spasm of the soft organs made Darui's eyes widen in an instant. This feeling, this kind of extreme disorder, which is sometimes in hell and sometimes reaches heaven, makes his whole person seem to be sublimated. The soul came out of the body, the eyes turned white, the body began to twitch continuously, and a trace of unknown liquid was left at the corner of the mouth. Just when he was about to reach the most intense peak ever in his life. Crack! The weak kunai couldn't bear such a strong transmission, and it shattered. The lightning disappeared, the birdsong was gone, and only Darui fell to the ground, sending out a string of unknown meanings. %. Shun squeezed his chin. Do you want to get back the Thunder God Blade? Without the Kusanagi sword, Sasuke's handsomeness has not only dropped a bit. The open coat fluttering in the wind, the long sword slanted across the back, and one hand pressed on it. How handsome it looks. Moreover, Thor's blade can be long or short, thick or thick. Well, it matches this ninjutsu very well. Sasuke returned to Shun's side expressionlessly. Father, Shun waved his hand. It's okay, don't be discouraged. When you return to Konoha, foster father will find you a weapon to match, and guarantee that the recruiter will want to die. As soon as the chrysanthemum tightened, the buttocks tensed, and everyone, including the tough guy like I, unconsciously took half a step back. How terrifying. Do you have? Not to mention killing a shadow guard with one move. I'm afraid this shadow will accompany Darui's life. Useless, he is useless. I understands that Darui is no longer suitable to succeed the 5th generation of Raikage. Even if he can stand up again in the future, there will definitely be a hole in his heart that is bigger than Orochimaru's mind turning. After all, this kind of thing. Onoki's old face was wrinkled into a ball, and his two mung bean eyes were always watching Kakashi. No, it was Konoha's owner. And his two hands were also tightly covering the back of his heart, not daring to relax for a moment, and his feet had already floated off the ground. He was really afraid that Konoha would jump out again and give him a sneak attack. He is already 90 years old, and he does not know the chakra armor passed down by Raikage. He is not afraid of death, but he is afraid that his fame in this life will be ruined. Luo Sha walked back and forth on the faces of Shun and Sasuke in horror. What kind of ghosts are Konoha? He is so vicious at such a young age, although he is a bit despicable, but he is using conspiracy with dignity. There is no such thing as attacking the vitals behind someone. Very scary. It's really scary. The small ones are already like this, the big ones can't go to heaven. Ahem. Mifune, who originally thought that a big battle would break out, suppressed a smile. Well, it's getting late, we'll have a good rest today, and we'll formally hold the 5 Cages conference tomorrow. What do you think? Shun still wanted to step forward to continue provoking, but Tsunade held his arm firmly. You can calm down, today we Konoha are here to seek stable development. Didn't see Ai's face, it was already blackened by the bottom of the pot. Even with just one look, Tsunade was afraid that Raikage would run away immediately. Yes, there is no problem with Konoha's high-end combat power now, but the war is not a war of a few people. If it really happened like in the Third Ninja World War, when the 4 countries besieged Konoha, even if Konoha won, his vitality would be seriously injured. At that time, the inability to govern a huge land will inevitably give opportunities to some forces with ulterior motives and small countries that are just around the corner. Then her Tsunade is Konoha's sinner. And if 2 years of peaceful development can be won, Konoha's strength will undergo earth-shaking changes after all. I, Onoki, and Luo Sha looked at each other, and in the end Onoki left first, and he would not easily overwhelm the future of Iwanan village. Ai's brows were tightly furrowed. Could it be that Yun Nin village has to endure another 100 years? Hateful. Why do Konoha always produce talents in large numbers? Senjujuma, Uchiha Madara, Sanin Jiraiya, Orochimaru, Tsunade, Konoha Shiratohage Wood Plastic Shigeru, Yellow Shining Namikaze Minato. Finally, after 3 generations of rule, they died and scattered. Konoha ushered in the darkest and weakest moment in history. Result: Tsunade. It's fine if Jiraiya returns, after all, they are old. Now there is a new generation of Konoha Whitefang, Anorectal Master, Chrysanthemum Harvester Hatake Kakashi. The Emperor of Taijutsu, Konoha's Blue Beast Matekai. The ultimate combination of illusion and swordsmanship, Instant Shisui, Uchiha Shisui. Clenching his fists tightly, I grabbed Darui who was still twitching on the ground and disappeared. He also had to rethink his attitude towards Konoha. Seeing this, Luo Sha retreated unwillingly, a bunch of trash, so frightened out of their wits. No, he must get Konoha's high-quality land, and he never wants to see a piece of yellow sand within reach. In an instant, they all retreated and did not stop them. The new generation of 12 Xiaoqiang has not yet fully grown up. He really occupied the other 4 villages, and no one ruled them, and he also wanted to meet the legendary fairy. As for the ancestor of Chakra, that Kagaya who has power but is nothing. Oh, when the time comes, let her out to get some air, and then throw it to Orochimaru to slice. When I came to the room arranged by Mifune, I suddenly found a very embarrassing thing, that is, Mifune believed it was true and really arranged him and Tsunade in the same room. Konoha. The bright moonlight hung high in the sky, and Jiraiya dragged his tired body to Naruto's residence. Today he is both gratified and frightened. What is gratifying is that the new generation of Konoha is already very powerful, and he, an old man in his 50s, is completely unnecessary to support the situation. The frightening thing is that Uchiha Shun has unknowingly gathered all the power of Konoha. With Naruto's character like the second idiot, can he really defeat him and change the ninja world? With sadness in his heart, he once again thought of the scene of the three ninjas working together, but still being hanged and beaten. Shaking his head, putting on a smiling face, it's useless to think too much, he is already old and unable to change anything, now all hopes are pinned on Naruto. Pushing open the door, a white python swallowed Naruto in front of him, and left. Jiraiya, rough, Orochimaru, you don't talk about wood. Regardless of the pain, he quickly chased the giant python, until he reached the Hokage cliff, his pupils constricted. Why is he here? Obito wears a whirlpool mask, his back is facing Jiraiya, and he looks down at the lights of Wanjia below, where he used to have all his happiness. Master, teacher's wife, fetters, lover, but everything will disappear in the end. He vaguely remembered the way Kakashi stabbed Lin to death with Rachel, and the hatred made his one-eyed look very hideous. Is this Nine-Tails Jinchuriki? Orochimaru stuck out his long tongue and slowly appeared from the dark. With his knowledge of Konoha, wouldn't it be easy to sneak in and take someone away? Orochimaru. Ji Lai also glared at this former best friend angrily. You actually betrayed the village. Orochimaru split the giant python in two from head to toe with a sword, took out Naruto from the snake's belly, and looked at it curiously. Is this the person Jiraiya is willing to spend his whole life looking for, who can change the entire ninja world? He is ordinary, even from his facial expression, he is as stupid as Zillai, no, even more stupid than Zillai. I've already brought it to you, where are the things? Obito threw the blood of Nagato traded with Orochimaru, and all the information he knew about reincarnation eyes, writing sharing eyes, and heretic golems to Orochimaru. Help me stop for a moment. Spread 5 fingers and press on Naruto's stomach, unblock the 5 elements. Evil chakras full of negative energy gushed out from Naruto's body, his skin began to fester and decompose, and his long scarlet tail fluttered in the wind. Roar! Kyuubi prostrated himself on the ground, roared to the sky, and was imprisoned for a long time, greedily breathing the air outside, and then he met a scarlet eye. Ma, egg, also let the beast play happily. And special, is that so? As soon as he came out, he was controlled. Is there any natural law, morality, and quality? Blue skinny, mushroom. Originally, he was sleeping soundly at home, but when he was taken out, he was beaten violently, and he kept asking him if he was convinced. With a dazed expression on his face, he could only humiliate and express his submission, and then, he was locked in a small black room. There is no sky, and the place is as big as a palm, and even a fart can't get rid of the smell. When he completely resigned to his fate, thinking that this was the only way in his life, and tried his best to please his master. The hemp, the egg, was pulled out again, put on the shell, and once again ushered in a severe beating. 1,000 hands, a whole 1,000 hands, taking turns beating violently. In the end, he was grabbed again like a little chick and sealed. He just wanted to ask, what has 9 tails to do with me? You human beings fight as long as you fight, why do you take me? I'm sick. Until 10 years ago, it was a familiar smell again, and he was pulled out to control him again, this time without that tall wooden man. He is very proud, he is very carefree, and he wants to destroy. After so many years of revenge, he can finally avenge it. Then he saw a man. This time it was even worse. Not only was he sealed, he was also split into 2. Ma, egg, are you humane? Are you kind? Are you pretty? He is so cute with 9 tails, you actually split his soul in half. Half of it was sealed in a child's body, and the other half, especially, was brought into the belly of the god of death. You want me to be enslaved to death, you want me to be a disabled beast forever. Hateful. 9 tails consciousness is gradually blurred, so you humans can't change your tricks. Zongte, why don't you stare at me with those eyes? Yes, sooner or later I will swallow all the pink eye diseases. Jilai was also very anxious to step forward to take Naruto back, but was slapped away by Orochimaru. He is a person who has received instant empowerment, and his strength is more than a little stronger than Jilai, who is standing still. What's more, Jilai, who fought during the day, is also covered in injuries. There is no Sage Chakra reserve, and it is not the opponent of Orochimaru at all. Straight punches, uppercuts, kicks. The series of attacks made Jilai unable to take care of himself, and he was shocked. The three of them have been together for many years, so it can be said that they know everyone very well. Among them, he is the most traditional ninja, with the most average measurements of taijutsu, illusion, and ninjutsu. Although he is not particularly outstanding, he is unrivaled under the enhancement of the fairy mode. And Orochimaru is best at ninjutsu and secret techniques. Basically, the ninjutsu Orochimaru of the Sarutobi Hiruzukai, who is known as the Doctor of Ninjutsu, can do it. All kinds of strange ninjutsu, combined with his immortal body, are very difficult to deal with. Tsunade is an extremely violent strange power fist. Combined with the world's unparalleled medical ninjutsu, coupled with the powerful recovery power after the activation of Baihoujutsu, it can be called incomprehensible. But what is the situation now? Orochimaru used the most basic taijutsu to beat Jiraiya. Although Jiraiya was seriously injured in the daytime battle, it's not like he can't even fight back, right? Grabbing Jiraiya's neck, Orochimaru revealed a humanized disdain. Jiraiya, you are slow. This time, I let you go. If there is another time, I will kill you. He wasn't joking. Rather than letting his old friend die in the hands of others, it would be better to die in his own hands. He couldn't accept that the person who used to be from the hero story was slaughtered like a dog. The ninja world has become more and more chaotic, and all kinds of monsters are emerging one after another. It is not the time when the three of them can run amok. Not to mention anything else, just the dominance shown by Nagato, Shisui Uchiha, and Madokai. He, Dashiwan, was startled. If he faced the three of them head-on, he might have no choice but to run away in a hurry. But the old friend is still standing still, trying to cultivate the son of prophecy. Doesn't he know that the strength of the ninja world is respected? Throwing Jiraiya on the ground, Orochimaru stuck out his tongue, preparing to get some tailed beast chakra for research. He is very curious about tailed beasts, or all-powerful forces. No, Jiraiya lay on the ground, stretched out his left hand. Oshimaru, please, let Naruto go. That is the hope of the ninja world, the sustenance of his soul. Naruto cannot be let down. HMPH. Orochimaru raised his foot and stepped on the back of his hand. Don't you understand, Jiraiya? Instead of trusting others, why not break through yourself? When you pin the future on the illusory fate, your death is already doomed. Jilai also shuddered. His life seemed to have been arranged long ago. It was fate that he came to Mt. Miyagi, it was fate that he cultivated into the immortal mode, it was fate that he met Minato, Nagato, and Naruto. His whole life seemed to be living in the prophecy of the great Toad Immortal. He came to Mount Miamu, became a great ninja, and led the son of prophecy. Could it be that he was wrong? No, not possible. How could immortal Toad lie to me? Orochimaru, you don't want it. Lying to you. Orochimaru interrupted Jiraiya coldly. Then why did he help you? Have you ever thought that without your presence, they might be rich just by living in Mount Miamu? Orochimaru never trusts others, nor pins his hopes on others, let alone a toad. Looking back now, the scene where he subdued one snake was also full of various coincidences. A greedy, cold and ruthless giant snake that swallows hundreds of consignments alive every time it appears. Why should you help him fight? Because you like fighting. Don't be ridiculous. The prosperity of the world is for profit, and the hustle and bustle of the world is for profit. If there is no benefit, one snake will fight for him. It seemed that it was time to go to Longdi Cave again, and he felt a chill in his heart, and he recalled the scene when he first went to Longdi Cave. Skeletons are like hills, skeletons are like forests, human hair is stretched into felt pieces, human skin and flesh are rotten into dust, human tendons are entangled in branches, dry, scorched and shimmering like silver threads. The mountain of corpses and the sea of blood, the stench is unpleasant. Even for him, Orochimaru, who regards life as worthless, was almost scared out of his wits. Jilai was also taken aback. He had never thought about this question. he only knew that the great Toad Immortal had predicted his coming in his future. But what about the ninja world, and what does it have to do with MT? Meowmoo. Even if all human beings die, why are there no bugs? And although he has been to MT Meowmoo many times, except for using spiritism, he has traveled all over the ninja world and has not found its location. It's almost ready. Shisui stood on the branch and said to Obito coldly. If Lord Shun hadn't instructed him, he would have made a move long ago, thinking that this Konoha was still from the 3rd generation. Want to come, want to go. The first time they sneaked in, the enchantment department had already sensed their existence. Obito put away the scroll in a still unsatisfactory manner. The entire 9 tails was as thin as a stick, and the 3 limp tails were powerlessly resting on the ground, looking so weak and helpless. The power of the gods is turned on, and the figure is distorted. As for Orochimaru, their deal has been completed. Whether he will die or not, he doesn't care about bringing soil, he only cares about Lin. His eyes regained clarity. 9 tails got up tremblingly, and fled. There was only one thought in his heart. He wanted to escape to a place where there were no people, and live an unrestrained life. The one who no longer participates in the human race, wait, the one standing on the tree. Dying. Why is the kaleidoscope blood wheel I engaged in wholesale, one pair after another? Also let the beast live, woo woo woo, the big deal is that the fish will die and the net will be broken, so I will fight them. Anyway, 3 years later it will be a good beast again. Wait, no, if he dies now, it seems that he will be reborn in the body of the other half. Ah, doesn't that mean that he will sink into the belly of death forever? At this moment, Kyuubi's desire to survive exploded. Showing a flattering smile. I'll go back now. Woo, what a shame, no, what a shame. He is the strongest tailed beast, why has no resistance to illusions at all? Why did the Sage of the 6 Paths only give him great power, but no illusion ability? Hatred. He suddenly hated it. Wait. Zishui looked at Kyuubi in surprise, the strongest tailed beast in the legend, who was said to be able to destroy a mountain with one blow and change the terrain. Why, it feels outrageously well behaved, without the feeling of tyranny at all. Master Shun said, you don't have to be locked in the seal in the future. Really? 9 tails frantically wagged its tail, as a gesture of flattery. He didn't know who Shun was, but he knew that as long as he dared to let him out, with the strength of the current Renjuli kid, he couldn't stop him at all. He will definitely find a chance to run away without a trace, for sure. Yeah, Shisui glanced at Kyuubi. Jiraiya, when Master Shun comes back, bring Naruto to me. Jiraiya, is the big devil going to attack Naruto after all? What should I do? At this moment, Jiraiya wanted power very much. If he had strong strength, all this would not have happened. After Shisui finished speaking, he didn't take a second look at Jiraiya. To him now, Sannin is nothing more than that. If he is not obedient, he doesn't mind getting Sannin removed. Turning his head to look at Orochimaru, Orochimaru was not afraid, but stuck out his long tongue excitedly. Let me take some experimental materials from Kyuubi. Shisui hesitated for a moment, then nodded. 9 tails. Hey, he is already so good, you guys still come. Heck, yeah, you really think I'm easy to bully, don't you? He can recover infinitely, but he also knows the pain. Besides, after hearing that, experimental materials. What did he take Kyuubi for? He is the strongest tailed beast. Wait, human, I remember your face. HMPH. The seal has been opened, and even if it is resealed, there will still be loopholes, so he doesn't believe it. Shisui can still stay by Naruto's side 24 hours a day. When the time comes, he will leave a shell behind and sneak away while he is not prepared. Let them finish, go to hell. Lie on the ground, let Orochimaru take pieces of his body away from him. Humiliation, deep humiliation. But he can't help it, if he doesn't cooperate, under those eyes, he. Jiraiya looked at this scene in a daze. Wasn't Orochimaru Konoha's traitor? When did he and Zishui get along so well? It's fine if you don't arrest him, but let him take materials from 9 tails. Is this still the Konoha he is familiar with? Is this still the ninja world he is familiar with? Why does it make him feel more and more strange? The little ghosts were so powerful that he was terrified. The immortal eye was pressed to the ground by the Bamindungia and beaten violently. Kai, who opened the dead door, was still alive and kicking and said that he could open it again. What the hell is this? When did the ninja world become so scary? Isn't his 3 ninjas the ceiling of the ninja world? As if knowing what his best friend was thinking, Orochimaru said. Don't forget, I called Mr. Shun my adoptive father, and my sudden surge in strength was also given by him. If all the familiar people die, then he becomes stronger, so what's the point of his longevity? This is the last time he reminds Jiraiya that he hopes that this former partner can let go of his obsession and catch up. Shisui and Orochimaru left the scene one after the other, leaving only Jiraiya looking at Naruto in confusion. Change. Is he really going to bow his head to that man? But without strength, can he really protect Naruto and let him grow up? Hesitating in his heart, Ninetales started to move. What he was afraid of was those scarlet eyes, not the gray-haired Mediterranean Sea in front of him. Tattoo. Footsteps sounded, and Fuyu came to the scene in a leisurely manner. Master Shisui asked me to accompany Naruto temporarily to prevent Kyuubi from escaping. Ninetale. Ma. Egg. This is no way for beasts to live. This is so, why did the kaleidoscope blood wheel eye appear again? Although he is a one-eyed dragon, he doesn't dare to gamble. No, he has to learn how to resist illusions. Kyuubi returned to Naruto's stomach obediently, and even locked. Bother. Whoever, don't bother the beast, let the beast hide in the corner silently and cry for a while. Jiraiya also glanced at Fuyu, and did not refuse. He could clearly perceive Kyuubi's malice just now. Let's go, accompany me to have a drink, and by the way, can you introduce me to the legendary Shun-sama? Fuyu nodded. Because of Mr. Shun, the current situation of Konoha, and the prosperity of Uchiha, no one wants to disturb Mr. Shun. Even at the cost of his life, he must protect the beauty of the present. At this moment, Master Shun, whom he admires and misses, is lying on the bed with his arms around Tsunade comfortably, falling asleep. Older is a bit older, but, can't say. Shun fell asleep, but the others couldn't sleep, especially I, who looked at Darui, who was lying on the bed and moaning, wished he could slap him to death. A big man was moaning and moaning, which really made him very annoyed. It can be imagined that Darui usually doesn't say a word even if he vomits blood for 3 liters after being beaten. Thinking about it, even the Thunder Dunk armor can't resist it. His heart twitched. Stop pretending, tell me, how do you plan to face Konoha tomorrow? Hey, in the small room, except for the people from Konoha, the other 4 kingdoms, including Mizukage, all gathered together. Onoki pondered for a moment and spoke first. As far as I know, Konoha's strength is not what it used to be, far from being weak and incompetent during the Sarutobi Hiruzen period. But each of our 4 countries has its own advantages. I don't believe that Konoha will take the initiative to attack our 4 countries. In his mind, when Hashirama and Madara did not unify the ninja world, they looked down on their territory of the other 4 countries. Sand Ninja Village is full of yellow sand, drought and little rain, and the land is barren. Not to mention people, there are not many animals. As for plants, you can hardly see a few of them. If there is no Luo Sha's hard work day and night, half of the population of Sand Ninja Village will starve to death. Yan'an Village is full of high mountains, easy to defend and difficult to attack. This is an advantage and a disadvantage. It has basically locked the upper limit of the development of Yan'an Village. After all, in the mountains, people will disappear as they walk. The country of water is even worse. It is all islands, not even a complete continent. It is all big fart islands. There is no shortage of aquatic products, but after a storm, many people will disappear forever. Yunnan Village seems to be the most powerful country except Konoha, but in fact, because of the cold weather, no one with a strong physique can't even survive as an adult. They are reckless. They have always had a reason. After all, it is more than 30 degrees below zero. Who wants to talk nonsense with you? You can do it, don't force it. HMPH. Luo Sha snorted coldly. Before the battle started, Tu Ying will destroy his own prestige and grow others' ambition. What does Konoha have? Isn't it just a new white-tooth Hatake Kakashi? I only dare to copy ninjutsu and use some small tricks. Tomorrow I will order people to make a large number of iron pants. What else can he do? He broke his fingers. Onoki sighed. This Luo Sha is still ambitious and talented. If Sand Ninja did not need him to mine, he might have died in the political struggle long ago. Mizukage-sama. I looked at the silent Goju Yagura and asked with a bad expression. What's your opinion? I haven't seen you say a word all night. Are you dumb? Itachi carefully controlled the chakra output. Obito brought Mizukage to the Iron Land and suddenly disappeared, so he had to continue to control it. Fortunately, although he is not a kaleidoscope, he only needs to maintain the chakra output. Our country of water is willing to cooperate with you to act together, but after the matter is completed, we don't want anything else, as long as you don't bother us. Although Itachi really wanted to refuse, he also knew that if he didn't make a statement at this time, he would be greeted with a thunderbolt strike. Ai's face looked better when he heard Goju Yakura's statement. Although Konoha is powerful, as long as our 4 countries are united, we should not underestimate them. Tomorrow we will use war as a coercion to make them submit to Konoha. If not, we will leave Tsunade and others here. I have already issued an order to order the Yunin village troops to move forward quickly. At that time, even if Konoha has 3 heads and 6 arms, I hope everyone, don't let me down tomorrow. The thick threat made the rest of the people change their colors. Onogi said sharply, Raikage, how dare you? I glanced at Onoki disdainfully. Tu Ying, you are getting old. Tisk tisk. Then I unscrupulously glanced back and forth on Haitu's long legs with his eyes. You don't want any accidents to happen to your precious granddaughter, do you? You. Ono's wooden beard was trembling. If he hadn't had no successors in Yanin village, he would definitely compete with Raikage today. Let's go. Angrily, he took the black soil and the red soil and left. I didn't care. There was always only one enemy in their Yunin village, and that was Konoha. The rest, they didn't pay attention to them. Luo Sha didn't care. He also felt that Onoki was getting old. How can he make great things by looking forward and backward? I want 1/3 of Konoha's land, and the price is the full cooperation of our sand ninja. Okay. I stretched out his palm. I agree. Although I agreed happily, he couldn't stop cursing in his heart. Idiot, you want to occupy 1/3 of Konoha's territory. Don't be afraid to eat enough to kill you. When the time comes, free up your hand, the first one will wipe out your sand ninja village. Luo Sha stretched out his hand excitedly, and made a high five with I. It's a deal. Konoha, he is here, the forest is his, he no longer wants to open his mouth, it is full of sand, he no longer wants to dig deep underground day and night. In the end, the 2 of them looked viciously at Yakura, who was controlled by Itachi. Mizukage-sama, what about you? Itachi carefully controlled Goju Yagura to stretch out the 2-tailed beast tails, and gave them a high five. At this time, he couldn't be cowardly, because once the flaw was seen, he would be crippled. I looked a little dignified. This Mizukage, he really can't figure it out, but it doesn't matter. After tomorrow's Cloud Ninja army arrives, no one will be easy to use. At this moment, at Mizukage's residence, Terumi Mei and Kido Mitsuki came to a hidden room, where Ao and Chojuro had been waiting for a long time. How's the preparation going? Terumi Mei was the first to ask. She had already given up hope on Shun. She couldn't control that man at all. She just wanted to take this opportunity of the 5 cages meeting to kill Goju Yakura and become the 5th Mizukage. Ao and Chojuro looked at Terumi Mei excitedly. Everything is ready. He has no one to trust in Mist Ninja Village, so he had to bring the 2 of us here. When we go back, we will cooperate internally and externally, and we will definitely be able to kill him. At that time, our dream will be realized. Okay. Terumi Mei once again returned to the previous state of high-spirited, pointing Jongshan. No matter how powerful you Uchiha Shun is, you are only one person, and you will grow old and die. As long as they survive these years, their Mist Ninja Village will reach the peak again. After several people discussed the specific details together and the future policy development of Wanin Village, Terumi Mei secretly returned to Konoha's side, changed back to the avatar, and continued to wait outside Shun's door. Kakashi closed the kaleidoscope blood eye. The village is developing in a beautiful direction, and he does not allow anyone to destroy it. As for the son of prophecy that Lord Jiraiya said, he scoffed. He just wanted to protect Master's child and grow up well. Don't go through all kinds of pain like he did back then. When his father committed suicide, he was forced to carry his father's dagger on his back to fight in the battlefield at a young age. Fortunately, he met Namikaze Minato. Fortunately he met Obito. met Lin, which gave him a ray of light in his life. But in order to save him, Obito was crushed under a boulder, entrusted his eyes and Lin to him before he died, and asked him to take good care of them. I didn't think that in a blink of an eye, Lin was caught by Mist Ninja, implanted with 3 tails, and planned to destroy Konoha. In order to protect Konoha, Lin took the initiative to choose to die in his hands. At that moment, his heart was ashamed. Fortunately, with the company of Master Namikaze Minato, he gradually came out of the darkness. However, the person who cared for him, sheltered him, and made him think that everything was over, died in battle not long after he became the 4th Hokage. That kind of pain, that kind of despair, who can experience it, who can understand it? He just wanted to let Master's child, Naruto, spend his life in peace and stability, without suffering any more pain. Child of Destiny. Hey, hearing this name is full of suffering. There was nothing to say all night, and on the second day, everyone had a hasty breakfast under the arrangement of Sanfuin, and came to a meeting room together. Everyone. Mifune stood at the top, although he was very tired, but he still cheered up. Because the future of the ninja world is war and peace, it depends on today. Please sit down, stay calm and don't be impatient. I will host the 5 Shadows conference in a while. I hope everyone will cooperate. He specially arranged a big round table just to prevent Gokage from having a conflict because of the wrong seat. But Konoha has too many people coming in, others are 1 shadow plus 2 guards, Konoha is good, 1 Tsunade plus Ikakucho plus Kakashi is fine. Also brought in yesterday's little boy, Sasuke, the 2 children of Yakushido, and the maid Terumi Mei. What are you doing here? This is the 5 Cages conference, this is the meeting that decides the future fate of the ninja world, okay. Is it really okay for you to bring the little boy and the child, and the maid to come in? Tsunade is also very headache, but she has given up struggling, just be happy for a moment. After a long last night, she already understood that her arms can't twist her thighs. As for why she can become Hokage, it was all because of Shun's laziness, so why later Shun was lying there, motionless? Is there any law of heaven, is there any law of the king? She is a woman, let her. With 2 red cheeks on his face, all men are big pigs. Shun carelessly sat on the chair, Tsunade sat obediently on his lap, took off the Hokage hat, and picked up the teacup. Thirsty, take a sip. Tsunade, I's fiery temper couldn't melt into the sand at all, isn't it too much for you to do this? Tsunade gave him a blank look. Why, Master Raikage has an opinion. I evil slapped the table fiercely. I don't care if you are looking for a little boy in private, but this is the 5 Shadows conference. There is also a maximum of 2 shadow guards allowed in the conference. This is the rule set by your grandfather back then. Please let the extra people go out. He was really angry. Tsunade's behavior directly lowered their Gokage's status. Tsunade froze for a moment. Boy. I glanced at Shun, not to mention, it's really white, but let Shun go out. Just kidding, today I'm all pointing at the output of Shunda. Shun went out, didn't she pay for nothing last night? The body fell back into Shun's arms. What if I don't? You. I was furious. Dignified Sannin, dignified Hokage, do you want to nod your face? This is the 5 Cages conference, you openly fell into the arms of the little boy. No wonder Konoha is now using some despicable and shameless ninjutsu that focuses on people's backs. If the upper beam is not straight, how can the lower beam not be crooked? I'll give you one last chance, you. Suddenly, Shun frowned, someone was peeping. Turning his head to look at Wei Qing, the shadow guard behind the 4th generation of Water Shadow, his temple veins are bulging, and he is quietly opening the white eyes under the blindfold, secretly observing the flow of chakra in the crowd to prevent accidents. He actually didn't care what happened to the 5 Cages conference, as long as he succeeded in launching a rebellion on the way back, he didn't have to admit anything. So what? Goju Yakura agreed. What's the matter with Terumi Mei of the 5th Hokage? Open your eyes, just in case. Look at you, numb. Evil and fear arose, and Shun slapped out one by one, and a bright 5-finger print suddenly appeared in the air. What? Everyone looked at this scene in shock. Didn't they feel any chakra fluctuations? So how did he make this blow? The 5 Cages and the shadow guards here are considered the strongest group in the ninja world, but even Raikage with the most physical strength is nothing more than a full blow, right? But a casual slap can actually hit a sonic boom. Hiss, it's so terrifying. Green, you and I have no worries in the past and no hatred in the near future. The first time we meet, are you so ruthless? It's just to open your eyes and observe secretly, what are you doing? Needless to say, Tsunade's figure is really good, although the white eyes are black and white, but, well, if he is not determined, he may have a nosebleed. Hey, wait, why can't he move? Ching stared in horror at the approaching 5 fingerprints, and endless fear emerged from the depths of her heart. Move quickly. Why can't he move a little finger? Boom, like a watermelon bursting, the bright red blood scattered away along with the white bean curd, and hot blood gushed out from his neck like a fountain. Rosa, Onogi, Ruff, are you a shadow guard? Why is it hardened there without moving? Are all the people in Mist Ninja Village so brave? Glancing around for a moment, everyone's hairs stood on their heads in an instant. At this moment, they felt as if they were in hell. Gollum, I don't know who took the first sip, and then the sound of swallowing saliva continued to echo in the conference room. They realized that it wasn't that Ching didn't want to hide just now, but that she couldn't hide. Although they don't know Ching's specific strength, but being able to exist as a shadow guard is definitely not weak. But just such a person, without even resisting, was slapped to death. This is not a little boy, this is a scourge. He bowed his head for a moment, and took a sip of the tea in Tsunade's hand indifferently, as if everything just now was an illusion. Dare to use my village's supercilious eyes in front of Hokage. It's really boring. Terumi Mei, you know how hard it is to get a white eye. Do you know, Hinata's white eyes are useless, and once removed, the caged bird will turn them into waste. And it's not that the Hyuga clan doesn't go to the battlefield, but most of them are in the rear. Even if there is no hope of breaking through, most of the clan will decisively choose to cripple their eyes. Prevent the eyes from leaking out, and people will find out the flaws. It was only after a lot of effort and various tricks that they managed to get the blue eye. But now, she is an important pawn in rebelling against the 4th generation of Mizukage Kutaki Yakura, and she has not waited to play any role. Pop, it's gone. Yaosho, she knew Shun was domineering, but she never expected to be so domineering. Oh, that's right. Shun buttoned his ears and stared into Lei Yingai's eyes. What did you want to say just now? I didn't hear you clearly. Say it again, what last time? He trembled all over, and he really wanted to forcefully express his refusal, but those eyes made him seem to see a strong smell of death. Forced to squeeze out a smile that is uglier than crying, boy, just wait, when the big troops arrive, I will let you know why Wawa is so popular. I decided to hold back for now. My that is. Yes, I was talking about how one stool can seat 2 people. Of course, I want to move my stool to you. He turned to she and said, hurry up and move over there, how uncomfortable a stool is. He panicked. He didn't even panic when facing 8 tails, he lowered his proud head for the first time. Because no matter how iron-blooded he is, how tough he is, in the face of absolute strength, he has to bow his head. He understands that as long as he says no, he will be the next to die. Yeah, Shun nodded in satisfaction. Not bad, quite obedient. Sit down, don't watch. Everyone looked at each other, and sat down a little stiffly, but looking at the awkward sitting posture, they were obviously ready to run away at any time. Mifune wiped the non-existent sweat on his forehead. Fortunately, they are a neutral country, otherwise they would have to live in fear with the other 4 shadows. At that moment just now, he seemed to have returned to his childhood, looking at the founder of Konoha, oh no, not the god of ninjas, but Uchiha Madara. The same eyes, the same arrogance, the same overbearing. Whenever you dare say no, get ready to dance. With Uchiha present, I am afraid that this time the 5 Cages conference will reproduce the first scene. What Hashirama said, the other 4 Cages can only nod. Ahem, everyone, please listen to me. Peace is not easy to come by. I sincerely urge everyone here to give up my family for everyone. Don't try to provoke a ninja war just for a little bit of personal ambition or desire. Isn't it good for everyone to coexist peacefully like our country of iron? Everyone scoffed. Why the iron country can remain a neutral country, it is because everyone needs a buffer. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.